Hello, hello. How's it going? Hey, Megan. Hey, John. Elizabeth. That must be an inside joke that I don't know about. How you guys doing? I was gonna do another wine and true crime night, and I don't know who's noticed, but I privated last week's wine and true crime live stream because I need to start doing my research. It's been so long since I was like heavily researching some of the cases that I talked about, and my memory is garbage. And I said a couple of things, like one thing in particular that wasn't wrong, like a fact about a case, but I was like, this is my theory about what happened. It's not a theory, like it's proven. It actually, did happen. But anyway, I'm not going to talk about true crime again until I've re-researched them, because I'm so out of touch. It's not even funny. So I'm having some Riesling this evening. I just got a small bottle, so it'll probably be about 2 glasses. My sister and I went today to a local, like apple orchard. When I was growing up, it was literally like one little building. They had, is it an aviary? No, I forget what they call it, but like where they have like bees hives and they make honey and stuff like that. And now it's like this big, huge compound. It's this massive business, but it's still like a local farm business. They sell, they make all of their own liquor. They make their own, like, I don't know what you call them, not like seltzers, but their own like mixed drinks, like from the fruits in their orchards. They also make CBD and cannabis products. But so anyway, my sister and I went there today because we were going to get some more cannabis gummies, and because that's my favorite is from there. But we haven't been there in like over a year, and they weren't selling them there last time we went, and we showed up today and they still are not selling them. They make them, but for whatever reason, because they're not like a licensed dispensary, they're having issues getting their license for that. So you can only get those products in the actual dispensaries. But anyway, I bought a really cute sweatshirt from there. I can't I was going to show it to you guys, but it'll dox me. But their motto is the name of their business. And then it says, oh, now I can't even tell you because I can't even remember. Something about, oh, I can't remember. Something about altitude, but basically meaning like, altitude being up on cannabis products. But anyway, super cute sweatshirt. I've had a pretty lazy day today. I've tried to nap twice and it didn't work out. I did get my nails done today. I couldn't decide on a fall color. I really wanted to get like a soft orange, but orange just clashes with my hair. So I just got like a blue-green. I think I'm gonna wait till next time to do my chrome nails for Halloween. And then I tried to nap and my sister texted me and was like, hey, do you want to go we went to the pumpkin place first. She's like, do you want to go to the pumpkin patch with me? And I was like, yeah, sure. So we went there and then we went to the apple place and then I came home and I was going to nap again. And then something with work and I had to run there really quickly. So I didn't end up napping today. But anyway, John says they don't have any wine, but I have a Keystone Light beer. Is that close enough? I know Megan is from Canada. Is Keystone from Canada? Is Keystone from Canada? Yeah, that's close enough. I enjoy beer. I enjoy the taste of beer, but it's very filling. I'll drink beer if I'm somewhere where I don't want to like get drunk. Oh, I'm not going to get drunk tonight. Like that's not the plan. I don't even have enough wine for that. But like if I'm out somewhere and I want to be really careful of like not getting intoxicated, I'll drink beer. I enjoy the taste of it. It's just very filling, very, very filling. Hey, Morrison, sup, yo. So I don't use it too often. I was using it weekly for a while. My sister and I would take a gummy together and we might start doing that. Probably not weekly again. We actually did it last night and we had so much fun. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, like, because for a while I was experimenting with the gummies and the tinctures for like their benefits. That's not what it's about at this point. Like at this point, it's just fun. I take very low. So the gummies that I have, they're technically 5 milligrams of psychoactive THC, which is like the lowest you can get here anyway. But it's 5 milligrams THC to 5 milligrams THCV, which is a non-psychoactive component. And the purpose of THCV is supposed to sort of negate the munchies, but I'm here to tell you that that's bullshit. That doesn't work. So anyway, we took a gummy last night and it's just funny. Like, it's just funny the things that you think in your head when you're like on cannabis and when it like wears off, you're like, oh my God, I'm so stupid. Because there was one point my sister and I, like we had eaten dinner and my sister and I are still sitting at the table. We had pork and, she's like skeeved out by pork. So she had ramen and she was taking forever to eat it. So we're still sitting at the table and my stepdad and my brother-in-law are in the kitchen. They're at the island and my mom's in the living room, but can hear everything. And I don't know what my sister and I are talking about. We're talking about everything, like just probably the most random conversation. I couldn't even tell you what it is. But all of a sudden I looked at my sister and I was like, are we talking via telemetry? And if you don't know what telemetry is, it's like all the machines that you could get hooked up to at like the hospital, like that's like telemetry. I meant to say telepathy, but because we kept having this conversation and her and I were like laughing and having the greatest time. And my stepdad and brother-in-law were listening, like they acted like they were listening, but they weren't saying or doing anything. And I was getting so freaked out. Like I could have sworn I kept asking my stepdad stuff and like, that's not like him. And he just wasn't answering me. So I said to my sister, I was like, am I talking out loud right now? Like, can you actually hear me? And so anyway, we had a good time. I'm about to leave work. I'm going to have to get my wine. What kind of wine are you going to get, Morrison? I didn't know you were a wine person. Honestly, like I said, I enjoy wine for the flavor. If I like want to drink, I prefer vodka just because for me, like I don't get headaches the next day. I don't get gut rot. My hangovers are not that bad. Like I just prefer like a vodka soda. I find it to be much more like clean and tolerable on my body. But I'm also, again, like I'm not sitting here trying to get drunk. Like I just want to enjoy a glass or two of wine. So well, I think you mean, well, yeah, like, yeah. AY, yeah. A. Um, you know how I first found that out was from the Santa Claus 3. That's how I found out about the Canadian A. Um, there you go, Slow-Mo. Yeah, I think it's like, yeah. And yeah, I can't remember. Mm, beer instead. Oh, okay. Yeah, I drink beer very, very rarely. I feel like I am drinking more wine than I have in quite a while. Um, I had beer the day before Labor Day, and next Saturday is the clam bake, which I will probably primarily drink beer at. Um, and I'm excited because my aunt from Colorado is coming to town. I was worried that she wasn't going to be able to because she's been having a lot of health issues. She's in her 70s, which blows my mind because she doesn't really, to me, she doesn't really look like it or act like it. I don't know. But anyway, she's had a lot of health issues, and I wasn't sure she was going to be able to come. And to be honest, like if she didn't come this year, I wouldn't be surprised if she never made it back again. But she's coming. She has her ticket. She'll be here next week. So, I'm not sure if I'll be live streaming it all next week because I've got a pretty busy week. So quickly, let me just go over what we talked about in DBT this week. So, we're kind of on the same sort of topic as 2 weeks ago because last week was Labor Day, I think. We're still in emotional regulation. So right now we're trying to learn about accumulating positive emotions in the short term and in the long term, and trying to sort of uh, reduce the vulnerability to emotion mind. Because again, we want to be in wise mind. So last week um, they wanted us to increase our daily pleasant activities. They wanted us to talk about what values we considered when determining what goals we are working on. So for me, my values were attending to relationships and being part of a group. Then they wanted us to talk about what long-term goals were worked on. And for me, I set a relationship with a specific person. And then they want us to talk about what we avoided avoiding. And for me, I had to have a hard conversation with a person that I would like to build a better relationship with. And I avoided avoiding doing that. We had that conversation. It went really, really well. So that was last week or 2 weeks ago. So this week, they want us to build mastery. So they want us to try every day to schedule activities that build a sense of accomplishment. So some of the examples they gave were like going to the gym, or like the long-term goal being like running a marathon. So you start with like smaller goals. They want us to they wanted the goals to be challenging but not impossible, something that gives us a real sense of accomplishment. And I, for the life of me, cannot figure out what to do. I pretty much my entire private therapy session yesterday was trying to figure out what I'm going to do this on, and I have no clue. I have no clue. The things that I thought of, like, I just don't feel like they really fit. So I just don't know what to do my homework on this week. And then the other part of it is coping ahead. And this is where I got confused. So we have, I told you this is like a teaching facility. So we always have some sort of student with us, like a med student, a student of psychiatry, whatever student we have at the time. So the one that we have now, like I think this week was like maybe a second or third time. And so each week, each of the three providers sort of runs a different part of the class. And this week, this is what he did. And he was talking about coping ahead and giving examples. And they were talking a lot about, like, to me, it's like heebie-jeebie. Like, envisioning things like, okay, so the example used was that he was nervous about teaching his first class. What if he screws up and gets fired, or what if people laugh at him, this, that, or the other thing. So in order for him to cope ahead, he's talking about how you need to envision before whatever you're worried about, envision yourself succeeding, envision it going well. And to me, I'm like, that's not what I would do. I would build a plan. Okay, so if I'm worried about this, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to like document, I'm going to make like a paper of everything I want to say so I can read it out loud, blah, 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 blah. The envisioning to me, it gives me vibes of like when they say go stand in front of the mirror every morning and tell yourself you're beautiful and you're smart and you're whatever, whatever. Like to me, that's heebie-jeebie, but maybe I'm not giving it enough credit because I did not give mindfulness. Like for me, mindfulness was heebie-jeebie, and that's before I really understood mindfulness. And now I realize how important mindfulness is, not only to like dealing with mental health issues, but dealing with life in general and being healthy. Mindfulness is so important. So I don't know. I don't know if maybe like those were just his examples. For me, like I'm a more literal thinker. So it makes more sense for me to like come up with like game plans rather than envisioning things. But anyway, so I have to describe a situation that prompts unwanted emotions, check the facts, blah, blah, blah. And then I have to talk about ways that I imagine in the future that I could cope effectively with that. Sort of just to give yourself practice. So when and if these situations arise, it's kind of like a fire drill. Like you practice it over and over again. And when it actually happens, it's like ingrained in you. So you automatically know how to deal with it. And I've been doing some research on DBT, and I should have like gotten the sources and pulled them up. But when you practice this stuff every day, especially like if you're someone who has a personality disorder or somebody who has like PTSD or trauma, working on these skills every day can actually like change your brain structure. So people with BPD, actually like we have a different brain structure. Our amygdalas are different. And there's one other part of our brain that's different, but I don't know off the top of my head what it is. And you can actually like change these things. Like you can, obviously you can stimulate certain neurotransmitters that might not be working properly, but you can reprogram your brain with this stuff, and that's why they say that you can be in remission from BPD. You don't ever get rid of it, but you wouldn't meet enough traits to be sort of newly diagnosed with it. John says, watch the movie Strange Brew. You will understand. Is that Strange Brew? Huh. I got to dip out. Sorry, guys. My just called. His car broke down. Got to go pick him up. Love you all. God bless. All right, John. Thanks for stopping in. It was good to see you. Your brother. Okay. Morrison's going to be driving. Okay, cool. So I do envision it being kind of a quiet night. I wish I had sort of planned out more things to talk about, but I really couldn't think of anything. I really am interested in doing like the true crime and wine nights. Maybe I'll pick like a different theme. Maybe I'll do like true crime and wine, and then talking about books and wine or whatever. But right now I don't really have anything planned out other than just chit-chatting, because like I said, I'm not going to be talking about those true crime cases anymore until I brush up on them. I was so embarrassed at some of the like inaccuracies I talked about last week because it had been so long since I had researched those cases. And as soon as I watched them back, I was like, that's not right. Like I knew in my head it wasn't right. I don't know why it came out that way, but anyway. I was telling Morrison earlier when the second time I was trying to nap, I listened to a lot of like creepypastas. Creepypastas are basically just scary stories, right? So I'm subscribed to a few channels on YouTube where that's all they do is they tell scary stories. Like you don't even know what the narrator looks like. So this one guy that I watched, his channel is called Being Scared. And he's got really long ones, which I like because you can just fall asleep listening to him, like 3 hours, 4, 5, 6, 7 hour videos. And there's always like a creepy image on the screen, and there's usually like rain and thunder in the background or fire, like a fireplace. There's always some background noise. And then he just reads the stories out loud, and he only does 3 ads after the first 3 stories. And after that, there's no more ads. But so the one I was listening to earlier, I didn't realize he must have multiple narrators because the guy who usually narrates, like it was him, and then the next story came on and it was some guy with a British accent. And so he's telling this story, and I don't even remember what the story was about, but these people were driving down the road, and he says they were on a back road heading to Tucson, Arizona, and I went, "What?" And I because like I said, I was trying to fall asleep, so I rewound it and listened to it again. I was like, did he just say Tuscan? Not Tucson, not Tucson, Tuscan. He said Tuscan. And I was like, "See, it's not just me. It's not just me." I literally, like, popped right up. I messaged Morris, and I was like, "Oh my god, guess what?" Hmm. So, um, let's see, what else do I have to talk about? I've still not read anything, unfortunately. I didn't participate in the August book club like I talked about before. I'm just like in this weird funk. Like I'm trying in some ways I'm trying to build like my social network in real life, and I have been, and I've been doing some like things actively to work on that. And in other aspects, I'm just tired, like I just want to nap. I just want to sleep. And I know what that is. Um, there are certain things that I look forward to every week, and other than like those things, it's weird though, because like I don't feel sad, like I don't feel depressed. I just don't have a lot of like get up and go right now. I don't have a lot of desire to do anything, except for like I said, the couple of things every week that I really do enjoy doing and I look forward to, and DBT is one of those things. I love it. Um, so I don't know. I have been My anxiety has been really bad lately. I've been catastrophizing a lot, and I was doing so good with that. Like when I had learned about the opposite to emotion action skill, I was doing really well, like with my OCD checks. And then the fire smoke detector thing happened, and that went out the window. And now, like, I'm not even going to talk about it because I know how ridiculous it is. But now there's something new since today that I'm catastrophizing about, and like I can't get it out of my head. And I know like it's so unlikely to happen, and I just like I keep fixating on it, and I have to run through these like scenarios in my head to reassure myself how unlikely possible, but unlikely it is that this is going to happen. And it'll soothe me for like a little while. And then a little while later, it's like boom, like this dread all over again. And I have to run through the same scenarios in my head again, you know? Honey, I'm trying to do a live stream. You want to come up and say hi? So one of these days, I will try to find videos that I can react to and not get in trouble. Oh, it's a siren. I was like, "What the hell is that noise?" I thought it was like a rabid fox for a second. Holy crap. I've never quite heard a siren like that, but so I did end up working for a little while on one of my days off this week. Yesterday I worked for a little bit, so I am gonna have a few hours off this Saturday. I will not have to, uh get up as early. I actually took half a day last Saturday, unexpectedly. I felt horrible, and I don't get sick, like, knock on wood. I have a pretty strong immune system. I really cannot tell you the last time that I've been sick. I think I had a cold, like, 2 years ago, um, but I what I think it is allergies, but I have had a headache on and off for the last, like, 5 days, and Saturday was just rough. Like, I had a headache, like, my throat like, it didn't hurt, but it felt like it was kind of about to, and I just didn't feel good. I felt off. I felt very, very run down. So, I ended up taking half a day, and I napped for, like, 7 hours that day. of course, I hadn't slept well the night before. And then the next day I felt completely fine. But I still like have had a headache on and off for the last 5 days. And I think it's allergies because I'm very new to allergies. I've never had them in my life. And just the last couple of years, around this time of year, I start to get headaches. I get a little like, I'm always sneezy, but like my nose gets a little bit runny and a little bit stuffy, but just a teeny bit, like not enough to warrant like taking anything. I think last year I took like a Zylol once or twice, and that was it. But Bentley, I just give me a few minutes to live stream, you know? Love this cat, but didn't have to be on me 24/7. I'll tell you what, it is so hard going. So I told you my sister and I went to the pumpkin patch originally first, and the reason that we went is because she wanted to get, they have like a bakery in there, and she wanted to get, they have like apple cider donuts and these like, I don't even know what, I didn't even look at the menu because I know I can't have any of it. It's all sugar, all sugar. So she got like, um, oh God, I can't even remember what she got. It was like an apple crisp ice cream sundae. They had pumpkin crisp, and I literally was like salivating. I was like, this stuff looks so good, but I know that I can't have it. I did end up getting a pumpkin cold brew, which I had already had a pumpkin cream cold brew earlier in the day from Starbucks. It was actually better from here, healthier, less sugar. It didn't have cold foam on it. They don't do cold foam, but it was better. Hey, Seeking Freedom, how are you? How much is your rent at your apartment? Why do you ask that? That's sort of a random question, a little bit specific. Why do you ask that? So, mm, what is going on? There's so many sirens out there, and I hear a horn honking. It must be the fire trucks trying to get through. What time is it? 8:30? I don't know what's going on. There's people who their backyard touches my backyard, and they're doing, I don't know what they're doing. I think they're roofing, like they're putting a new roof on their house or something every day, all day. And it's like hammering, and I can hear the staple gun. And I think really that's the main reason why I've not been napping well, because it's very loud. I am a very impatient person, especially if my sleep is disturbed. Like that's what triggers me more than anything else. If you fuck with my sleep, I'm gonna have a problem. But it happens. So anyway, I don't think you're in here anymore seeking freedom, but have you been in here before? Um, whoops, didn't mean to do that. Your screen name looks a little bit familiar, but I can't remember if you've been here before. So I'm not going to answer that question. But curious as to why you're curious. Hmm. So I was going to change. I'm just like, I went out today. I wanted to get some new like comfy clothes. I don't know what. Okay, so I realized, I don't know if I told you guys this, but obviously I've only lived here for like uh May, June, July, August. I don't know, like 5 months, not even, somewhere around there. Um I don't know where my socks are. So I'm not a sock wearer. I only wear socks in the winter when I have to wear winter boots. Um, so I never noticed, but like I used to have a vanity in my bedroom. It was my grandma's vanity. And when I moved, I was going to sell it. So I was like, I don't have room for it. I never sit at it to like, you sit there and do your makeup. I do my makeup in the bathroom. But then I decided not to sell it. So it's downstairs in storage. But that's where I always kept my socks because I didn't have like a drawer to put it in my dresser. So I bought my new Converse All Stars last week. And luckily, I bought a package of socks at the shoe store because I wanted to try them on with socks to make sure that they fit properly. But then I got home and I went to put the socks away and I was like, where's all my other socks? I have no idea where they are. So I'm wondering if they're in storage in my still in that same drawer in my vanity. There was a reason I was telling the story, and now I can't think of what it was. Oh, crap. Socks was like an afterthought. It was something else that I lost in the move. I can't think of what it was. What's up, Morrison? Crap. I can't remember what the other thing I was going to tell you was. Oh, well, so anyway, I had 2 pairs of sweatpants that I loved that I only I wore around the house. They were both from Pink. It was a black pair and a maroon pair. I know I threw the maroon pair out because they were so stretched out. They were both size medium, but when I had gained that weight, I was still wearing the maroon ones, and so they were stretched out and whatever. I think I had I think it went the maroon ones went through the wash and there was gum, like a piece of gum in my pocket and it got stuck on the pants. So I threw those out, but the black ones I can't find anywhere. So anyway, I don't really have sweatpants. I live in jeans. I wear jeans almost every day. I have a couple pair of shorts, but when I'm laying around the house, especially in the fall and the winter, as soon as I get home from work, I take my jeans off. I change my clothes, I get comfy. And like I said, I don't really have pajamas. I have 2 pairs of actual pajamas, but I usually just put on sweatpants or whatever and a t-shirt. And I don't like leggings for the most I have a bunch of leggings, but they're just not I don't find them comfy. So anyway, when I went out today, I was like, I want comfy sweatshirts, hoodies, and sweatpants because I got rid of a lot of my hoodies like an idiot. So that's a whole nother story. But anyway, I don't have a ton of sweatshirts and hoodies. So I went to Target. We got a new Old Navy, kind of close-ish to me. I went there, couldn't find anything that wasn't cropped, by the way. I don't understand why cropped is still a thing. I hate cropped. It's not attractive for adults that don't have abs. You know what I mean? I'm almost 40 years old. I don't need to be wearing cropped anything. Um, so, but like I said, I did end up finding a really cute sweatshirt when I went to the Apple place. I forgot the point of that story too, other than to say I'm in desperate need for new clothes. I don't really need new work clothes. Um, I did almost buy a couple pairs of jeans at Old Navy today, but I'm so picky. And I'll tell you what, I love the 90s. You guys hear me say all the time, the 90s was my favorite decade ever. Best music, best everything in the 90s. The fashion, I don't know. It took me a really long time to get used to skinny jeans. I hated skinny jeans at first, and now I'm obsessed with them. And now flare jeans are back in, bootleg jeans or boot cut or whatever they are back in, and I cannot stand them. I can't stand the wide leg jeans. So I go to Old Navy and I love Old Navy's jeans, and I typically get the Rockstar, super skinny, mid or high rise jeans. And I found one pair that I really liked, but then I was looking at them and I was like, do I have that pair? I'm pretty sure I might. And then I found another pair and I didn't you guys don't care about this thing, but I don't like cuffs at the bottom of my jeans. I prefer them when there's no cuff at all and they're a little bit of a frayed ankle cut. So anyway, I didn't buy anything at Target or Old Navy. So all this to say, I need new clothes, mostly new lounge clothes, but I would like some new jeans. I do not need nicer shirts or anything like that. I have a ton of those. In the winter, my sort of work outfits consist primarily of flowy camisole tank tops with big fluffy sweaters, open sweaters or cardigans. So I'm doing a whole lot of talking about nothing. Oh no, you left your Chinese food at work? That sucks. What did you get for Chinese? Oh man. I feel like we had Chinese a couple weeks ago and I ordered something by accident. Oh, I think I ordered the roast pork lo mein and I got the combo platter because I wanted the egg roll with it. And so I didn't realize that it was going to be the roast pork lo mein with pork fried rice. And I was like, oh my God, that's a lot of carbs, but I ate them anyway. Um, The things that I really love, I'm too scared to get now because the sugar content is so high that I'm afraid it's gonna make me sick, and that's the boneless spare rib, which probably is not actually pork. It's probably some weird meat, like, I'm not gonna say. Um, and the General Tso's chicken, but again, like, the sauces just have so much sugar in them. So I usually get, I think actually yeah, so I like the Mushu pork. What I because it usually comes with a little pancake. So what I usually do is, go to the store and get a head of Napa cabbage, and I use that, and I put the Mushu pork in there instead of, like, the carby pancakes. Plus I like the crunch. Um Or I usually just get, like, chicken and broccoli or beef and broccoli or something like that, but I love Chinese food. I had, we went to Costco a couple weeks ago, and my sister got, this kind of ramen. I can't remember what kind it was. I don't have any here to show you, and I love ramen. Like, I'm a ramen addict. Good ramen, cheap ramen, all ramen. I don't discriminate. I love it all, but I don't eat it anymore really because it's just sodium, sodium and carbs. But I was like, you know what? I'm at my goal weight. Like I'm maintaining around like 155. I'm gonna have some ramen. So my sister gave me, she got like obviously Costco, like a big package of it. So she gave me two and she said, it's really, really spicy. I think it was I can't, like I said, I can't remember the brand. Like, I don't know if it was Maruchan or what it was, but it was, chicken carbonara, spicy chicken carbonara. So she said, it's got the powder and it's got the spicy sauce. She goes, I only use like a quarter of the spicy sauce. So I said, okay. So I used like half of it and it was spicy, but it was good. And then I had another container like a couple weeks later, just I think it was last week, and I forgot and I used the entire spicy pack. And it was spicy, but oh my God, it was so good. When she gave me the first pack, that was the other thing I realized. I went to make it here and eat it, and I realized I lost my chopsticks in the move. And I was spazzing out because I'm like, there's literally no point in eating ramen without chopsticks. There's no point. It takes all of the fun away from it. So I was on the phone with my mom and I was like, I can't find my fucking chopsticks. I might as well just throw this ramen out. And she goes, I saw your chopsticks. She goes, they're in the box with all of your cord protectors. And I was like, that's in storage. Why would my chopsticks be in there? You know what I mean? Like instead of where all the rest of my silverware was. So I ended up a couple of days later, I ate it with a fork very begrudgingly. Um a couple of days later, my sister and I were shopping in Marshalls, and I ended up getting like a big pack of chopsticks. I was like, yeah, this can't happen again. I need backups. Veggie lo mein, dumplings, and egg drop soup. Okay. Were they, I really wanted to love the dumplings, but I just don't. I just don't. Well, usually the dumplings, I thought you didn't eat pork because I'm pretty sure unless most of the Chinese places I've ever been to, their dumplings are pork. It's like their version of bao. Um, egg drop soup I've actually never had, but lo mein is like my jam. I love lo mein. Finally leaving the store with my Blue Moon. Oh my, we have a close family friend who loves Blue Moon. Just a whiskey shot? What kind of whiskey? Yeah, you know what? I wanted to love bao too. Like because I love Korean food. I love Korean. I don't like chili spices, but like red pepper, like which is mostly what is used in Korean food, like the gochujang, I love. And so we have a couple Korean grocery stores in the city. And I went to this one and they had like their deli area or whatever, and they served several things, but bao was one of them. And I was so excited because I just love the idea of bao. I hated it. I hated it. And the other thing was black bean noodles. I thought I was going to be obsessed with black bean noodles. And if you watch people who mukbang them for the first time and they try to explain to you like what it tastes like or what it could be comparable to, they're like, I have no idea. Like, I literally can't compare this to anything. It's so unique, but I didn't like them. Now, granted, I've not had them in like a gourmet Korean place. Like it was packaged black bean noodles, but I didn't like them. Only time I eat pork. I love pork. We had last night I told you, like, every weekend, my stepdad will text me and be like, "Any ideas for meals?" Because I go over there for dinner on Sundays and Tuesdays, and they always ask me what I want, and whatever I say, they'll cook it for me, but I'm just not really picky, especially now that I'm not counting calories and counting carbs, so I'm like, "Whatever you have, I'll eat," I don't care. Um, and I really wanted to say I'm craving shake and bake pork chops, but the last time I said that, my mom was like, "I don't want pork chops." So I haven't suggested them, and I showed up last night, and he's like, "We're having shake and bake pork chops with garlic parm pasta." I was like, "Yes." Oh my god, they were so good. So good. I used to do, because I love pork fried rice, but the pieces of pork in the pork fried rice are, like, microscopic, so I used to make my own pork, and I would order the pork fried rice, and I'd get home, and I would just add my own pork to it. So good. Oh, got some ghost listeners in here. I wish you guys would say hello, say what's up, say who you are. Give me something to talk about at least, so I don't feel like I'm sitting here like an idiot without anything to say. It was good to see Megan. I actually saw, I was kind of like, I don't wanna say I was, like, stalking, but I'm always checking up on Kevin's channel to see, like, if there's any updates, because I don't know if I'll get, like, a notification or whatever, so, um, I think it was on his last community tab. Somebody had left a recent comment. I can't even remember what the comment was about, but basically, I think saying, like, asking Kevin how he was doing and saying, like, "I really wish you would check in." And Kevin commented on it and said that he was doing well, except I guess he broke his wrist a couple of weeks ago, and that he was gonna do a live stream. I think he said when he got to 5K subscribers, which is so exciting. But love you, Kevin, if you're listening to this, but, like, if you're not making content, like, how are you gonna get to 5, like, how are you gonna build your subscribers that much if you're not? I mean, I'm pretty sure he's like, he needs less than 1,000 to get there, but you're not making any content. Kevin, just do a live stream. We miss you. We wanna know how you're doing? Um Peach Crown Royal, okay. Yeah, one of these days I wanna try that. Oh, Meg, what are you cooking? Anything good? Can we miss you? I know, I know. I really wanna know how he's doing. One of these nights, I wish he'd pop in. He did pop in, like, unexpectedly, like, right before I moved into this apartment. I was shocked as shit to see him, but, I haven't seen him since. I would love it if he would pop in. He could even, like, pop up on the channel and say, "Howdy," you know? Spaghetti, oh my god, do you do meatballs, Megan? I love spaghetti. I have this, like, ridiculous. I have a couple ridiculous, like, cheat recipes that, like, part of it's, like, stuff I make and the other part of it's packaged. Like, I love Campbell's vegetarian vegetable soup, and to be honest with you, I don't know the difference between the vegetarian vegetable soup and the regular vegetable soup, but all I can tell you is the vegetarian vegetable soup has peas, green beans, carrots, potatoes, and little pastas and, like, sort of a reddish broth. So I meal prep those, like, so I'll get, not very often because it's not very good for you, but, I'll do 3 cans of that, and then I'll do my own ground beef, and I'll add, like, my own, like, fresh spinach and my own spices and stuff, but it's so good, and I was craving it so bad, so I made that tonight and had that for dinner. Um, Another cheat recipe is you get Maruchan or Top Ramen. You get the packs, not the cups, but the packs of the Oriental flavor, which I'm pretty sure they rebranded to the soy flavor, which is what it is. You use 3 packs of that. I'm pretty sure you only use 2 packs of the flavoring, and you use there's other spices that you add, and I can't think of what they are, but you do your own ground beef and your own, like, mixed vegetables in there, and it's so good, and you don't have it as a soup, like, you drain most of the liquid out of it, it's more of, like, a dry, like, ramen, but it's so bad for you. So bad for you, but so good. Bolognese, okay. Are they still open? Can you go back and get it? I mean, I probably would. Of course, it would take me like 2 seconds. Oh, thanks, Megan. Thank you. It's so short. It's so short. But you know what I like is, and I'm irritated because my roots are not taking the red because my roots are so healthy that they're not taking the red. But it's so short that like when I sleep and I nap on it, like my ends would get really uh from like me like, sleeping at night or whatever. And because it's so short, it doesn't do that. Like it stays like I straightened it on Monday. Okay. And I haven't touched it since. Like I washed it and straightened it Monday, you know? So I'll wash it tomorrow morning, but still. Is Kevin active? So he posted today, which is why I thought of it, on his car channel. I didn't watch the video. I liked it, but I didn't watch it because, like, love you, Kevin, but I don't care about cars. You know what I mean? It was some like video about how to do something with some kind of car. But he did post a video on his car channel today. Yeah, I can get a link. A bonnet. What, for sleeping? Oh, let me read you guys this meme Rob sent me a little while ago. I was laughing because it's so me. So the meme is, I don't have time to Google lyrics. I sing what I hear, which is totally me. Dancing queen, young and sweet, only 7 teeth. Love that. Yeah, his oops, hang on. Can I ask any of you guys, do you guys know who Nikocado Avocado is? Can we just talk for 1 second about what we think the fuck happened? What the actual fuck happened? Because like I'm shook. Yeah, so oops, that's his Kick and Addiction channel. I can post a link if you want me to, but his car channel is Badass 1G. Like badass and then the number 1 in G. The video he did was free simple C7 Corvette, target top, roof, rattle, noise, do it yourself fix. Let's see. Somebody commented, I don't know who it was, but they said you should get a tripod so you can be in the video. And Kevin said he had one. He was just too lazy. So we can watch it. I mean, I can play it. He's good. He's good. He's dealing with some stuff. He's making some life changes. And him and I are working on some things within our relationship to try to sort of make it healthier and stronger. And I'm happy to say that I think it's going well. Okay, so Nikocado Avocado, he started off in YouTube many years ago. I can't remember how many years ago. And originally, so at the time, he was living with his boyfriend at the time on some island, not I don't know if it was the United States territory, but it was not mainland US, but I think he was from California. And I believe he started off doing, at the time, I think he was a raw vegan. I think he was a raw vegan. So he was doing mukbangs, which is where the money is in YouTube, is mukbangs, unfortunately. Very, very healthy. But as his channel grew, people want to see people gorge themselves on unhealthy food. And throughout the years, he went from a very skinny, seemingly healthy sized person to someone who weighed, I believe, over 400 pounds, literally ate himself to that. Right. So all this time he's been posting, well, turns out they were all pre-recorded videos. So he releases a video, I think it was yesterday or the day before. He's skinny again. He's skinny. And this video is creepy, talking about like, he's an admitted troll. Like he'll come on and he'll create drama and he'll always be fighting with his boyfriend on the channel. But it's not real. Like, for 1 second, I don't think it's real. It's a troll. He's incredibly smart. He's bringing in the views. Like, this guy is making millions of money off YouTube or millions of dollars. But the weird thing is, like, so I was watching a couple reaction channels, Alan Roberts, and who else was I watching? Shakara Transformations. Yeah, so he's tiny again. He basically like is tiny again. When MIA, I believe he was MIA for 7 months on YouTube, But the theory is that, like, before that they were all, like, videos that had been pre-recorded. However, I'm confused because you can lose a lot of weight in a short period of time, absolutely, whether you're having gastric bypass surgery or another type of weight loss surgery, Ozempic, like, you can do it, but and he's younger, like, he's younger than me, but I'm sitting there looking at him, like, I'm staring at his body, and I don't see one bit of loose skin anywhere at all, and granted, like, he's younger than me. I don't remember exactly how old he is, and he's not been heavy his whole life, so that also would help him not having loose skin, but something is fishy. I remember, like, watching him back in the day and being like, "Is that a fat suit? Like, is that a fat suit?" I don't know, but his video, I didn't even watch the whole video, that he just released, but talking about, like, so like, the whole I think the idea was that this whole thing was one big social experiment, um, so I don't know. He put on a lot of weight from it and used that obesity for content. Right. Right. And that's the thing, like, YouTube shuts people down for, like, drug-related content and all this other stuff that's deemed, like, harmful, but they allow mukbangers on here. They allow people who, um it's not how can I say this without sounding insensitive? I think anybody should be welcome on YouTube, but there are certain things that you shouldn't be glorifying. Like, if you're coming on here and talking about addiction, that's fine. But, like, when you're coming on, like, let's just use an example, extremely, uh, you know what? I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. It's interesting to me what YouTube allows, uh, that is extremely harmful content and what they remove. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah, I mean, he's lost over 200 pounds. I think that gives Ozempic a little bit too much credit. I really do. I'd be more inclined to think he had surgery because I don't know. I just don't know. But here's the thing. In his recent video where he's talking about it, he did a mukbang. And if you let me just show you the amount of no, you know what? I'm not because Nikocado loves to report people for copyright. Just go look at the thumbnail for his most recent video, and I'm pretty sure it was black bean noodles, jajangmyeon, that he ate, and I can't tell you how many packs that was, but it was a massive amount, and he ate it all, and I'll tell you what, I couldn't like, I can eat a normal portions since my weight loss surgery that was 8 years ago. I could not eat that much food. I would literally, like, be sick. I could not eat that much food. I know, well, I wondered, but, like, it would have had to have been an extremely realistic fat suit because, like, he would come on and, like, show his whole body, like, he would lift his shirt up, he would, like, jiggle his belly in front of the camera and stuff, so, I don't know. I never watched him regularly. I checked in from time to time, but, um oh my god, yes, Kimmy, it's oh, wait, food trucks of the devil, yeah. Yes, Kimmy, it's awful. Have you seen or heard of you? So that's where I was going with that, Megan, but I just didn't want to say it. Like, I couldn't figure out how to say it in, like, a sensitive way because, like, I don't have an issue with Eugenia. I do feel bad for her, but I believe that she's very well aware of what she is doing and how harmful her body checking is for people that, especially young impressionable girls who have eating disorders. But she doesn't really do content that much on YouTube anymore. So, and I think what wasn't she? I think she was demonetized on, was it TikTok or Instagram or something for a little bit? I don't know if she got that back, but I just think they need to be careful. Like, I don't think people should be. I'm not about cancel culture unless it's something like abhorrent, like to do with kids or something. You know what I mean? But, like, I don't like cancel culture, but I do think that, like, problematic things should respectfully be called out, and I don't like the hypocrisy of removing or demonetizing certain things on YouTube that are not, um, that are hard to talk about, but they're actually helping people. And here we are letting people that are causing active harm to impressionable people, like we're just letting that slide, you know? Yeah, I'm pretty sure she started off in like the beauty as like a beauty guru or whatever, and she still is. Like she does like try on hauls, and I've got some theories about that too, about that whole situation and her mother and all of that. That's actually how I started following Jacqueline Glenn, because she did that whole, her and two other YouTubers did that whole intervention with Eugenia. Um, I think I was still subscribed to Jacqueline, but I haven't watched any of her stuff in a long time. She likes to go off on Christians and like, stuff like that. But yeah. So there was a psychologist on YouTube who I, before that point, had a lot of respect for. I think she may have done a video on BPD. I'm not sure, but, and this was before I knew I had BPD, but she did an interview with Eugenia, and I can't remember what it was specifically, but I lost all respect for this particular mental health professional after that interview. All respect. I'm pretty sure Jeffree Star has interviewed her, or was it Jeffree Star or that other one? No, who's the other? Who's the one who was Shane Dawson? Was that who it was? One of those people. Yeah, not Jeffree Star does makeup. Why would he interview her? I think it was Shane Dawson or somebody like that interviewed her as well. No, I don't, Megan. I don't think she should be deplatformed. Like, I think she should be allowed to have a voice and have a channel, but it's the things like the body checking and, you know, eh, I don't know what the answer is. I really don't, because like I don't think she's a bad person. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she's sick. She's sick and she needs help. I don't think she realizes to the extent that she does. So no, I don't wish any harm on her. I don't want her to be deplatformed, but uh, I don't think those things should be monetized at the very least, you know? I personally think YouTube shouldn't censor unless it's illegal. I agree, should not censor, but they shouldn't monetize. They should not be monetizing things like that. Meg, I have an update to my prayer request. Taking your whiskey shot. All right, Megan, it was good to see you. I'm glad you stopped on. No, Morrison, it wasn't her. I don't think this person, I don't know if she was a psychologist or just like a therapist. I'm not even if I find her, I'm not going to say her name, but I would know her name if I heard it, and it was not her. Wait, deplatform what, Morrison? One shot kicking in? Yeah. I got to figure out what I'm going to do with that. Is it Bailey's? Is that what it is? I think so. I am debating getting myself an espresso machine maker, whatever you want to call it. Because like whenever I go to my sister's, I always have her make me a coffee, and she does 1 or 2 shots of espresso, milk, almond milk, um, and syrups, little creamer, whatever. And it's so good. It's so much healthier than Starbucks. And I was like, yeah, but like I just bought this Keurig. I just bought it like within the last year. And she's like, yeah, but how often do you use it? And I was like, like once a month, maybe. Because I always get my coffee out. I either make my coffee at work when I'm working, or if I'm not working, I go to Starbucks, you know? So she's like, if you get an espresso machine, like you can get one that like makes actual, like you have to get their brand, but that does like pods of actual coffee too. So, um, yeah, I don't really care. Like I said, I hardly ever use mine because I'm always either using the Keurig at work or Starbucks, but I do like coffee, you know. I need a pod make. Like I don't make a whole pot. I need to do like K cups or pods or whatever you call them. So I know I'm kind of surprised I'm still on my first glass of wine. We're almost an hour into the live stream. Megan, I hope nothing like triggered you. I hope like, and I understand like being that I like a lot of you guys are from the recovery community. If drinking wine triggers you, I totally understand. You know, good on you for recognizing that and leaving. But it's not my intention, I guess, to trigger anybody. Ever since mine molded, I went back to the whole pot. Oh, see, I never had that issue. I had some issue with this one. I can't remember what it is. It's like the slim one because I don't really have a lot of counter space, which is why I'm like, don't think I'm gonna get an espresso machine because they take up a lot more space than the little Keurig. But I don't know. It's something I'm thinking about. My mom recently invested, and she had the same Keurig as me. She invested in a I don't know if it was like Cuisinart or what it was, but it does pots of coffee, but it does iced coffee, frozen coffee. I don't know. It's got like a blender attached to it, basically. Because and I've noticed like you're either team Starbucks or your team Dunkin' in the US anyway. And she has never liked anything that she's gotten from Starbucks. She loves Dunkin' Donuts. She gets their frozen coffees all the time. So she got this frozen coffee machine thinking it'll save her a lot of money, but she never uses it. She never uses it. So I use it sometimes when I go over there. But the crazy thing is, so you have to use ground coffee and they want you to use 2 scoops of ground coffee. And that doesn't mean shit to me because I do K-cups. And my stepdad was like, I use less than that for a whole pot of coffee. And I was like, oh my God, I don't want to overdose on caffeine. And he's like, no, I think it's like, I can't remember how he explained it to me that it wasn't going to be like a ridiculous amount of caffeine with the iced coffee, but I don't think she was triggered. I hope not. That's not my intention, but I respect if that was the case and, you know, people remove themselves from situations that are triggering. Duncan sucks and I work directly beside him. Yeah. Yeah. I just like, I don't know. Doesn't taste like anything to me. But I'm to the point where there's only very specific things that I like from Starbucks. I'm not loving the pumpkin cream cold brews this year, and normally I do. Something's different about them. Maybe it's me, maybe it's my taste, but I'm still getting them. But I am the pistachio cream cold brew and the white chocolate macadamia cream cold brew. That's my shit. That's my jam. And they're both out of season right now. So I put mine straight in the vein. The coffee that is sucker for Starbucks. Yeah, I love Starbucks. I love it. I was irritated because this morning I had to go get let me talk about that too. I had to go get blood work for I get blood work every 6 weeks to check my thyroid to see how my taper is going. And afterward, I went to Starbucks and I did get a pumpkin cream cold brew. And after I ordered a grande, which is not that much cheaper than a venti. Like, I think it's like less than 50 cents cheaper than a venti, but I was like, I don't need a big one. And then I realized I had enough stars for a free drink. And I was like, I should have gotten a venti. I wouldn't quite say it's the only thing we agree on, but so I got my blood work done today. And obviously I've been doing my taper. I started off on 100 mics of my thyroid medication. I went to every other day, 188 for 6 weeks, blood work, everything was good. So I went to 88 every day for 6 weeks. Blood work was good. So then I went to 88, 75, 88, 75 every other day. Got my blood work today. And the next step was going to be 75 every day. And I've not spoken to my primary yet. My T3 and T4 are fine, but my thyroid stimulating hormone is too high, which indicates low hypothyroidism. So I don't know what the next step is. I'm surprised that my primary did not call me today. He might not work on Tuesday, so hopefully I hear from him tomorrow, but I'm a little like discouraged because I don't know. Maybe he'll say, let's just hold on the dose we're at for another 6 weeks and retest and see where you're at. Maybe your body's catching up. But my fear is he's going to be like, we can't continue the taper. Unfortunately, like it's been too long. You've been on these medications for too long and you have to stay on them for the rest of your life. Like that's what I'm scared of happening. And like, I don't know why I'm scared of it happening because that's what I thought since I was diagnosed when I was like 15. I was like, or I think I was even younger than 15. I think I was like 13 or 14. I was told you're going to have to take this medication for the rest of your life. So I was okay with that until he put it in my head that you might be able to get off of this. Like your body might be able to regulate on its own. And I was like, oh, then I wouldn't have to be on any prescription medication like the only thing I would have to take is my vitamins that I will have to take for the rest of my life because I can't absorb those from food. So I'm a little discouraged, but again, like I haven't spoken to him yet. We'll see what he says. I think normal thyroid stimulating hormone is like 0 point something to like 4 point something. And mine was like 5, almost 6. So I don't know. We'll see. Praise God, you're getting off. I hope so. I really do. Like I just hope it's like, that means I just need to hang out at the dose that I'm on and kind of give my body more time to catch up and regulate itself. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. So I just realized that I didn't put my wine back in the fridge after I poured my first glass. So my second glass will not be cold. Because of why you told me earlier, I bet, Morrison, I bet you are. That's awesome. I had like a couple really rough days where I was like, my head was so stuck in the past and like people that I don't talk to anymore. And, like, how sometimes like you get stuck on like the what ifs, like, what if things had gone this way or like what, and I can't, like, I know that's not good. That's not healthy to dwell on those things. And like, I didn't let myself dwell, but I did let myself go there for a little while. And it sucks. It sucked. I know I'm doing like what I need to do. I know that I'm headed in the right direction and I'm staying positive and hopeful, but like it's really hard sometimes to like remember things and remember people and you know, I've had rough days lately too, but this was God smiling down on me. Yeah. Despite me being a screw up. He is good. Yeah. I don't know. My therapist goes, "Why don't you make going back to the gym your like challenging but achievable goal or whatever?" And I was like, "I don't want to." I was like, "I know like I should go because like people, I feel like it's just like society expects you to go to the gym." But I was like, I don't right now. I just don't care. I do not care. I'm still maintaining my weight. Like I'm probably not as healthy because I'm not weightlifting. But I was like, I don't care. I right now like I don't give a shit about going to the gym. What's that, Morrison? The 5th of November. What is that? I have a question, and I shouldn't ask because I don't want to get political on my channel. I just keep seeing this like reference several times on my Facebook feed today, and I have no like 'cause I don't watch anything political anymore, so I have no clue what they're talking about. And I should have Googled it, but V for Vendetta. I have no idea what you mean. I don't know. 5th of November, V for Vendetta. Morrison, I don't know. Like it helped me get through, I wanted to say, like, it helped me get through one particular rough patch, but, like, it was more like sort of the sense of accomplishment that I felt from not wanting to go and still going. I feel as though, like, I kept waiting and waiting and waiting for, like, the mental health benefits I don't know if I ever really got them, but I also don't know as I was going, like, long enough yet to or, like, regularly enough to get them because I was only going, like, 2, sometimes 3 times a week. So, I don't know if I was going enough to get those benefits, but I feel like the benefits that I did get, and this could be wrong, but, like, I felt like they were placebo effect, kind of. Um, so I don't know, people keep talking well, I don't know, I'll ask you later. I don't know. I don't know. There was a just like a time period, where I really didn't wanna go, and I forced myself to go, and I pushed myself to go, and I felt good, like, because I didn't wanna go, and I went anyway, and then I stopped going, and I felt really guilty about it, and I feel like I was beating myself up for it a lot, and then I just stopped caring. I was like, I don't like, I just don't care right now, and I know at the beginning why that is, like, it was sort of um, I don't know what to call it, but anyway, lately, I just don't really seem to care. So, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I'm still paying for my ridiculously expensive membership every month, and actually, they charged me, like, $40 more this last month, and I called them and was ready to, like, throw a fit, and basically, the guy on the phone, I'm pretty sure he was, like, a high school kid. He didn't, say it like this, but I took it like this, like, "Well, if you read your email, you wouldn't have had to call me," and I'm like, I have never gotten an email from you guys. Like, it probably goes to my junk folder. I don't know, but I was like, I've never once gotten an email from you guys. And he said, well, it's just the yearly fee. Like, you got charged your monthly fee, and every year you get charged this, whatever, for this, that, and the other thing. And I said, well, I didn't authorize that. And he said, you did authorize it when you signed your like introductory like paperwork or whatever. And I was like, whatever. I'm just feeling bad because like I'm paying this much money every month and I'm not going, and that's my fault. I'm not canceling it because I'm hoping that someday I wanna go back, you know? After the gym talk, are we gonna get oh my god. Oh my god, Marissa. I debated, like, wanting to talk about this, but, like, I have really, really bad feelings about this. Like, even back years ago when this case happened, like, I would get so far into the rabbit hole of that, and I would start to feel, like, really like oppressed and really weighed down and just this really, really dark feeling to the point where like I would be scared at night. And that like I love this stuff. I love true crime. I love horror. Like I don't get like that with this stuff. You know what I mean? And uh, this case, there's something so fucking evil afoot. So evil. Go back. We'll do FaceTime and lift weights. Yeah, we could do that. We could do that. I usually go well, I used to go Mondays, can't do that anymore. Um, and then Tuesdays and Thursdays, I feel like. I'm gonna get some more wine. Oh, don't look at my pajama shorts. I'm always like, you need to start wearing real jeans because you stand up, you forget, and you stand up, and I'm wearing like pajama shorts. They look like boxers. They're not. They're pajama shorts. Okay. Let me put this in the sink. Oh, did you see my pajamas? I'm sorry. Whatever. I'm not sorry. I'm a human being. I found these at Target a couple of months ago. They look kind of like boxers, but I don't know. I'm pretty sure they were in the workout or the pajama section, but if I'm being completely honest, like I've worn them out a few times. Um, we should go through the evidence. Yeah, so I wish so like I told you, I watched this. It was like a 3 or 4 hour long live stream last or was it last night or the night before? where there was some interviews from the prosecutor from that case, and they talked a lot about another case that prosecutor had tried and how, but this is the thing, like my attention wandered so much that I feel I can't talk about it because I'm going to get my facts wrong. But there was a case previous to this where this man had been accused of murdering somebody, people, whatever. And there was basically a search and rescue group who had volunteered their time. They said they had suspected that this victim's remains had been placed in an actual graveyard, like in somebody else's grave. And this search and rescue team volunteered their time. They said, we will come and we will bring our search dogs and we will look for human remains as volunteers. And the prosecutor said that's not in the budget. They weren't going to get charged. So a little while later, he cut a plea deal with the perpetrator. Like, if you let us know where the remains are, you can get out of prison in 2029. And he did, and he's getting out of prison. And that's exactly where the dogs were supposed to search for free. But anyway, I'm so hesitant to talk about that shit, Morrison, about the specific ties. And so we're talking about the Chris Watts case. Chris Watts was accused, admitted, and convicted in, I don't know what year it was, but a while back, of murdering his wife, his pregnant wife, Shanann, who was pregnant with their baby boy, Nico. And I believe, I don't know if these ages are exact, but I believe 4-year-old Bella and 3-year-old Cece, Celeste. And there's been a lot of conspiracy theories about this case. But the biggest issue is that Chris Watts was having an affair with someone named Nicole Kessinger. And all of this was extremely out of character for Chris. Like, I've heard, this is why I had to leave some of these live streams, people throwing around the term narcissist. And we already know that triggers me. But when you're talking about Chris Watts, like, even if everything happened the way we're told and Chris Watts killed his wife and his two children, he is not a narcissist. Like, you can be a shitty person and not be a narcissist. Chris has always shied away from the spotlight. Like, he's always preferred to fade into the background. He's not ever been shown to be like a manipulative person. Like, he's quite the opposite. Like, everybody was shocked by what happened because he always went above and beyond to be really helpful to people. Regardless, like, don't call people narcissists unless you're qualified to do so. Okay. But anyway, one of the biggest theories was that his mistress, Nicole, was involved. And conspiracy theories aside, it is fact that her alibi was never checked and that she told the investigators lies that were proven. She told them lies, that they had only met whenever she said they met was not true. They had met quite a long time before that because her phone records and her like Facebook records showed that she was looking up Shanann Watts, Chris's wife, on Facebook months and months and months before she said that she met Chris. So that's all like conspiracy theory aside. Nicole, after this whole case, again, like, she was never prosecuted. She was never investigated. Her alibi was never checked. She was interviewed by the police, once by herself, once with her father, which is quite odd, as an adult, with her father, who has a lot of ties with a lot of people in high places. After this whole case, and she did Google the net worth of, was it Scott Peterson's mistress? She Googled the net worth of, but regardless, after all of this happened, the prosecutor, people were outraged and they said, why is Nicole not being investigated? Why is she not being investigated? And the prosecutor said something along the lines of, I have no reason to suspect Nicole Kessinger's involvement in this. Like, we already have a confession for Chris. There's no need to investigate further. We have a confession. This is not a witch hunt. And I guess that's probably not as poignant of a statement as I mean it to be, because I haven't talked about why that would be such an ironic statement for him to make. But regardless, after this case, after Chris confessed and blah, 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 like Nicole has dropped off the face of the earth. She has a new name, a new identity, doesn't, as nobody knows for sure, but assumed to not live in the United States anymore. People believe that they know what country she's in. I don't know what country that was. And even if I did, I wouldn't say. I actually don't remember. I did know at one point, but I don't remember now. So yeah, he is the opposite of a narc. And again, like, you can be a horrible person and still not be a narcissist. Like that. I'm not saying that to defend Chris Watts in any way, shape, or form, but stop calling fucking people narcissists. Stop. It's literally to the point where I was like, I'm going to have to delete Facebook for a little while, because if I hear one more fucking person call somebody else a narcissist, I'm going to flip my shit. Well, I mean, I don't even know about Dr. Ramani Morrison, but yes, exactly. Unless you're qualified to do so. Listen, every single person in the world, everybody, you, me, every single person has narcissistic traits. Everybody does. It's not a bad thing. But to call somebody a narcissist, you're labeling them with a diagnosis of a personality disorder. Narcissistic personality disorder. You don't just go around calling people borderlines or calling people schizos. Don't do that. Don't do that. It is so stigmatizing. It is so freaking stigmatizing, especially when you're not qualified to do so. You're not, Yeah, Morrison, who knows? I don't have narc traits. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to respond to that. I'm not going to respond to that comment. I'm just like, I hate buzzwords. I really, really do. And look, listen, do I like armchair diagnose people? Yeah, all the time. All the time. I don't talk about it. Like, I don't call people like what I think that they may or may not have. And again, this does not matter. I am not qualified to diagnose anyone. Not qualified whatsoever. But I do have an education in psychology, not enough of an education to be diagnosing people. But my point is, like, just stop. Just stop. It's just ridiculous. Ridiculous. Oh. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, like I said, Morrison, I have a lot of theories about that case, but I really am not comfortable talking about it. There's something about it that gives me a very bad feeling, a very, very bad feeling, very like evil and unlike protected feeling. And like I said, I love this shit is like my bread and butter. I love true crime. I love horror. I can listen to this shit when I fall asleep at night and be totally not scared, but there's something about this case that makes me very, very uncomfortable and nervous, frankly, to talk about my theories about it. It's to the point where, like, I would, and again, like, anybody, listen, this is not a Christian channel. Anybody's religious beliefs are welcome here. I don't care if you're a witch. I don't care if I don't care as long as you're not like trying to, perpetrate harm on people. But it was the point where, like, I would have to pray before and after, like, watching anything about this case, because it would make me so nervous that I felt like I needed that extra protection. I know we do need something to talk about. I don't know what. Hang on, let me. Oh Lordy, it's Jordy is live right now. He's funny. He's a reaction channel. He mainly reacts to Girl World. He's actually reacting to Foodie Beauty. Foodie Beauty needs to get it together. I heard that Amy Slayton was arrested. I forgot to look up what happened with that. If you don't know Amy Slayton, her and her sister Tammy started doing YouTube many, many years ago. Very, very morbidly obese sisters. Strangely entertaining. And they actually both went on a TLC show called, I think, 600 Pound Sisters, which I only watched clips of. I believe they both ended up having gastric bypass. Amy ended up getting pregnant. Tammy had all kinds of issues, but Amy seemed to be doing pretty well. And I just read that she got arrested for something. I don't know what though. Oh, Sensitive Stability came out with a new video about the etiology of borderline personality disorder. We could watch Kevin. We could watch his new car video, see what he's up to. It's only like 3 minutes long. Oh, Dr. Mike. I can't play any of his videos. He has so many subscribers. I don't want to get in trouble. I think Nick Avocado, everybody's saying like he's been doing a bunch of TikToks on the last day and they're super like weird, but I haven't been on TikTok in so long. All right, let me pull up. I need to put my glasses on because I feel like I can't see anything. YouTube. All right. Y'all want to see? Let me share my screen right now. Well, do I want you to see everybody I'm subscribed to? Let's see. Subscription. All right, let me find. I never see people's shorts. I feel like they don't show up. They show up when I look on YouTube on my MacBook, but when I'm on my phone, they don't show up because I haven't seen any of these. I don't really like shorts though. I know that's where it's at with YouTube, but like that's what brings the people in. But all right, let me share my screen. Share screen, subscriptions. Oh, I didn't even play it.
Who's that? Who's that? It's my puppy. Cancer. It's different in a child.
More, and I think I found the problem. So it seems like it's mostly right here on this side, and as you're driving the car, and this is the passenger side, as you're driving the car, you can
like Pig Latin to me.
It sounds like it's coming from mostly this side. So I believe this is the issue. So I don't know if you're gonna be able to hear this, but it's like it kind of sounds like this. Not as loud, but it just sounds like a knock. So let's see if you can do it as I push down. Yep, you guys hear that? That knock sound.
I'm trying to look at his reflection.
Hit it upwards. See if I can do it again. Yep.
Is he wearing a?
Makes that sound.
Is he wearing what, golfing hat?
So if I hit it up and I hit it down, that's the sound it's making. Right there. Okay. So I think there are some metal posts that go inside somewhere to lock the roof down. I'm gonna pull the roof off here and see what I can come up with to try to fix this issue, because it's a very,
I don't know, but that to me, this is like, I'm trying to like look in the reflection. I'm trying to be like all nosy, but that to me looks like his garage, like the place that he's filmed his car videos for a while. It doesn't look to me like a dealership. I don't know. Maybe I don't know why that's relevant, but like
annoying sound. I know you guys heard it that time. And it seems like it's mostly only happening on this corner, but we'll see what I can come up with. I'll post back in just a minute. I'm gonna try to rig something up that's either cheap or free. See if this works. All right, so this is what I have done. So on the front of the car, you'll have.
Listen, I don't mean that in like a creepy way, but like, I'm curious how Kevin is doing. Like, I love Kevin. Kevin was like, as ridiculous as it sounds, because like I've never met him, but like he was a big part of like my like weekly, I don't know what you call it, like social interactions, you know? So I'm super curious about what the hell's going on with him, where he's been and how he's doing. So yeah, I'm being a little bit nosy and trying to look in his reflection and see how he's doing, what's, you know,
These little
I don't think that's weird.
small arrow things pointing down that latch into the car. I put a little bit of a thicker O-ring on the top and then a smaller one on the bottom.
Oh my God, O-ring. That's what caused the space shuttle, if you believe that. That's what caused the space shuttle, the Challenger, to explode. The O-rings, they're not designed for, at least back then, they weren't designed for colder temperatures. And Florida had some very, very cold days, and the O-ring was damaged and the gas escaped through it.
I'm sure it doesn't really matter. Just if you do something like this, I think it should work. So let me go ahead and bolt this down and see how it does. It should just give the car that much more cushion, because I'm guessing this
More cushion for the pushing.
top rubber bushing over time probably just gets worn out. Let's go ahead and give this a shot, see if it works. All right, and here is the final finished product. This did fix the issue for sure.
Yeah, I'm worse than I couldn't care less.
If you put one washer on there or one,
not saying that it's not, I don't care either way. I really don't care either way.
O-ring on there and it doesn't work, put 2 on there. If 2 doesn't work, put 3. Just tinker with it, and you just need to build up enough space in there to where the roof has cushion. You'll feel when you put the roof back on and lock it into place that it fits much more snug, and that's what you want. So let me go ahead and show you guys. This is fixed. No more knock.
What should I leave for a comment?
Perfect.
I don't know what anything I'm talking about with cars. I'll just say that was very
That's
informative.
just a plastic panel right there, but you don't hear that sound that sounds like this anymore. And that's the sound I was hearing. So you might have a sound that's more like a rattle. If that, still do the same thing, should fix it. If you have the rattle, if you have the knock, if you have some creaking sounds, do this.
All right. Thanks for, I hate that my my MacBook doesn't autocorrect. Thanks for the super informative. No, that sounds, I don't mean that to sound that way. Because he's gonna know, like, I don't give a shit about cars. Let's just be normal. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Because he always said, like, don't comment anything like addiction related or personal related on my car channel, because I just won't respond. So we'll just say good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Cool. I know. I don't think he likes cushion for the push-in. I don't know why. I just feel like he doesn't. I know. It's funny to hear him talking about something other than subs. You know what, though? Like, I understand, and I don't know if this is where he's at. I'm just speculating. Because, again, like, that's how he built his channel. And obviously, his channel has way more people following him than I do. But, like, I get being at that point where you're like, I don't want to talk about Suboxone anymore. Fuck Suboxone. I don't care about Suboxone. Like, if you're on it, cool, great, fine. Like, do what you're going to do. I don't care. It's not my life. But like, I don't want to talk about Suboxone anymore. And I don't mean that like to say it, if anybody were to come in here needing support for anything, like that's totally fine. But just as like the main sort of like content on my channel, I can't do it. I can't do it. It almost feels like another lifetime ago. It really does, you know? So maybe like he's just moved on. Like he's like, I'm done. I don't want to talk about Suboxone anymore. Like I'm moving on to bigger and better things. And I totally respect that. And I totally get that. But I also miss him, you know, like, I don't know. I always feel like a sense of nostalgia, I feel like, with Kevin. And it's bittersweet because let me unshare my screen. It's bittersweet because I don't know. I feel like as weird as it is to say, like, let's just say it's bittersweet. It's bittersweet, you know? But I sincerely, Kevin, if you're watching this, I wish you all of the success and all of the luck in the world. I think you're a really, really good person. I think you have such an amazing, compassionate heart. You're way nicer than I am, that's for sure. But I really I hope you're doing well. I miss talking to you. I do miss being able to run things by you, but again, I totally understand. I totally understand. But all that to say, I hope you're doing well. And I do hope that you check back in because you do have a lot of people who I don't want to say depend on you because you can't. This is YouTube. You can't let that dictate your life. But a lot of people who would love to hear a check-in from you, would love to hear how you're doing, whether you're doing good or not. I hope you're doing good. But no matter what the situation may be, I hope that you check in because there are a lot of people who are rooting for you and who will support you. So anyway, that's what I have to say. All right, I got to go on my phone more since I can't click links on my MacBook. Hang on. The shitty thing too is last time I did this wine live stream, I can't click links on my YouTube for hours after. Remember when I ran out of wine, I had those Bud Light seltzers left to drink. I don't think I have any of those left. My subscribers, they're up, down, up, down, up, down. And I feel like it's because I have so few that I recognize it so much. But I'll get to over 300 and then over, under constantly. All right. I have to go to the studio to get to the live stream because YouTube will never let me click on these live streams until they've processed lately for some reason. Okay, why won't this even let me click on it? I can't. It doesn't even show up in YouTube Studio. Okay, all right. I was gonna say, 'cause I can't. It won't let me click it. Oh God, I don't want to watch about that Sarah Boone. I don't want to watch it because I'm so I'm so behind. I'm so behind. I've read none of the discovery. I have no idea past the original police interrogations. I have no idea. I have no idea. All right, let me see if I can pull up Discord on my MacBook so that I can share my screen. Let me unshare this really quickly. All right, stop screen. Oh, there I am, big, whatever. I might as well not change it until all right, let me see if I can open up Discord from here. Okay, making it up as she goes. All right, one second. I gotta find StreamYard. Can you see my whole screen right now? I don't want my Discord showing up. Okay, no, I'm not sharing it. All right, I'll play it. Present, share screen, body cam footage. Okay.
Court TV recently went over some of Sarah Boone's previous body cam footage from a previous situation.
Okay, really quickly for anybody who's coming on my channel who does not follow true crime, watch true crime, I am not updated with this case, so I cannot give you the most like updated, accurate information. But this person, Sarah Boone, is on trial. I believe she's currently on trial, right, Morrison, for the murder of her boyfriend, fiance, boyfriend, whatever. They were, according to Sarah Boone, playing hide and seek one night after having some alcohol, and he hid in a suitcase, like a luggage, one of those luggage suitcases that zips up, and died. Okay. Is that like a good overview, Morrison? A non-judgmental one or no? Oh, her trial hasn't even started yet. Okay. All right. Is that like a good overview?
With her and George.
And this guy right here, his name is Paul. First of all, Paul, you're great. I've watched a few of your videos since your last live stream, or since my last live stream when I mentioned you, where I'd also been drinking wine. I still love him. I do take back some of the statements that I made about how like he was so beautiful. You know what? Never mind.
George. And we're going to talk about it.
He is really, really cute. Really, really cute. I feel like now that I know he's gay, which I knew as soon as I heard him talk, I'm like, but he's still really cute. It's dumb statements like that I make that I'm like, I have to private the whole video now. I have to private the whole video.
Hello, Sofa Squad, and welcome back to the Sofa. My name's Paul, and the Sofa's name is Sofa as well. It hasn't changed.
Yeah, so Paul, who Morrison follows, I am new to Paul's channel. His channel is called Reporting Live from My Sofa. Morrison, if you so desire, you are welcome to post a link to that channel. He covers true crime. I actually went back and watched some of his videos on cases that I'm more familiar with because, again, like I've sort of been out of the realm of true crime for a little bit, and I'm familiar to an extent with the cases that all of these true crime YouTubers are talking about, but I've not researched them. I don't know like the intricacies of those cases. So anyway, here we go.
Changed to a love seat, or I guess it kind of, well, maybe that's a chair. Maybe the whole channel name.
You like me saying what? I feel bad because like last time I was like, oh, he is hot. He's hot. And he still is. I don't mean to take that back. I was like, oh my God, I'm not trying to like take that back, but like, just forget I said that. Okay.
Is a lie. And actually there is, you can't see it because of my little shrine to Mr. Roscoe back here, but there's a chair back here. Okay, it came from Amazon. Okay, but anyways, my name's Paul. What we're going to be doing today is we're going to be revisiting, spoiler, brace yourself, Sarah Boone. I mean, I guess you know that because of the little thumbnail, right? But if you just happened to pun here, didn't know what you were clicking, well, we're talking about Sarah Boone. Okay, so we're going to be talking about Sarah Boone. Now, in this particular video, what we're doing, before this video, like maybe the one before this or whatever, I had reviewed Sarah Boone's attorney, James Owen. He spoke with Court TV. Well, in that same show that he did, they also went over some previous body cam footage of a previous like domestic situation with her and George. I wanted to split these up because there's just basically two different subjects to go over. And even just watching the little bit of the body cam, I was like, oh, wow, this is going to take me forever to go through. So this could end up being a long video. I apologize if it ends up being that. So what we'll do is we'll put clips up and we'll talk about it. Now, a couple of things here. If you're new here or if you're not new here, I always like to say this. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a shrink. I'm not any credential thing like that, right? I just have sofa speculations. My credentials lie in the chair, the sofa, whatever you want to call it. That's my credentials. Okay. Too much time, a little nosy, and well, some personality disorders, and the sofa. Okay.
Wait, what? What'd you just say?
That's my credentials. Okay. Too much time, a little nosy, and well, some personality disorders, and the sofa. Okay. Are those my
Morrison, does he have a personality disorder?
damn credentials, and I'm sticking to them? Okay. But I just like to say that so you know that where I'm coming from on these. Yes, I have personal biases in these cases and whatnot, but they're just literally my opinions made off of very public information. I invite you to share your opinions as well down in the comment section. Now, also, this case is about Sarah Boone. If you're unfamiliar with that, Sarah Boone has been incarcerated for 5 years.
You don't have to say no.
She has allegedly taken the life of her now deceased boyfriend, George, by essentially getting him into a suitcase and leaving him there while he.
Listen, I'm pretty sure last time, well, I don't know why I'm saying this again, because this is one of the reasons that I privated the last live stream. I'm pretty sure I said some dumb comment like, I would have that man's babies. Please disregard that. Please disregard that. It was the alcohol, and just disregard it.
Begged for his life and he suffocated. She did record this on her phone and seemingly forgot that she did. So that's a whole other thing right there. But she's gone through 8 attorneys. Her behavior made them all kind of go away or whatever. They, got off the case. The judge made her go pro se. And at the 12th hour, a new attorney swooped in and is now representing her. And at the time of this recording, which it is the 5th of September, I believe. My eyes are a little foggy. It could be the 6th. I'll figure it out later. But anyways, it's about a month before the trial is what I'm getting at. So that's the quick synopsis. This video is not meant to be a deep dive into the whole all the aspects.
Morrison, did she request to represent herself? I don't understand how a judge could order pro se unless the defendant requested to represent themselves, because you can't. And if you don't want to, and you don't have a background in law, like, you can't be forced to represent yourself,
case, or whether to go over this body cam footage. So again, the context of this is, this is Court TV, this is Vinny, and this is the body cam footage of a previous arrest several months before. So let's go ahead and get the first clip up, and then we'll go from there.
That's about 5 months before the suitcase incident where Sarah Boone is describing alleged abuse by her boyfriend, George Torres. Now, there is a history here, and George Torres has an arrest history. Take a look. June 15th, 2019, George is arrested for battery. June 18th, 2019, George is arrested for violation of a pretrial release condition. He was making contact with Sarah when he was not supposed to. Police were investigating something else and came across that.
Okay, so this is just the bare bones of what's going on, some backstory here. And again, this is not to shame the victim here, George, but just to provide context in it, because if you've been following.
Can I just say, for those of you who are not familiar with this case, Sarah recorded videos on her cell phone of once George, whatever you want to call him, was in the suitcase. You could hear him saying, let me out, I can't breathe. And she recorded it, and she was mocking him, basically. Viewer discretion advised. Disgusting. She was at one point, he kept saying, Sarah, Sarah, Sarah. And she goes, that's my name, don't wear it out. And he was like, I can't breathe. And she's like, well, how do you think I feel when you do whatever? I can't remember what she said, but it was just disgusting. She recorded this person who said she was so drunk and they were playing hide and seek. She recorded herself, recorded these videos of him in the suitcase and her saying these things. Okay. So really quick, let me bring Morrison up. Hey.
Hey, what's up?
What's up?
So yeah, she had I think it was 8 lawyers. And don't make fun of me for the way I say lawyers. But, so she had 8 different court-appointed lawyers, right? Mm-hmm. And she basically ran all 8 lawyers off of the case.
Yeah.
Because of her attitude.
But you can't be forced to go pro se, especially if you don't have a degree in law.
Well, so Paul played
for those of you who don't know, pro se means that you're going to represent yourself. You're going to be your own lawyer.
Right. And Paul actually, he did a live stream of the hearing where she became pro se. So her final attorney was this lady, and she basically petitioned the court saying that, because of Sarah Boone's actions, she's basically unrepresentable, and that that county was just throwing money down the drain. because she was not listening to her attorneys. She was wanting to have full reign over everything, and the attorney that was representing her at the time said, you know, it may be in the court's best interest to have her represent herself.
Now,
and so that's how she became pro se.
Do you think that that was orchestrated by Sarah? Like, do you think she was smart enough to have that sort of, to know that that would happen if she went through enough lawyers? Or do you think it was just Sarah being Sarah and that's kind of how the cards fell because she had gone through so many lawyers? Or do you think she kind of planned it that way?
No, I think that was Sarah being Sarah.
Okay.
I know on this channel we don't diagnose people. However, I will say she has a lot of narcissistic traits.
Listen,
and
I am the first to say that I'm a hypocrite. And as much as I lecture people, and again, I've not deep dived into this case since like the police investigations or the police interrogations came out, whenever they came out. She is like one of the few people who I've been like, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah,
I can
exactly.
see her being a narcissist. I'm not diagnosing with it, but I can see it. You know what I mean? Like it makes yeah.
She presents, we'll just say she presents like a classic narc, you know.
One of the few, yes.
Yeah. So yeah, basically she was doing her like, hey, I'm not a lawyer, but I know everything there is to know type of thing, and you're not up to my standards. She was freaking gaslighting her attorneys, and they had enough. And you know, the judge in the case is like the most patient judge I probably ever have seen. I mean, he's amazing, but he was like, you know, agreeing with the attorney at the time and saying, I mean, we've been through 8 attorneys. This is drug on for close to 5 years. Like, we've got to try this case. This is Florida.
Does Florida have capital punishment?
What was that?
Does Florida have capital punishment still?
Oh, yes.
Are they going for the death penalty?
I don't think they've even gotten to that point. I mean, they haven't even they're still dealing with like discovery, and they're still in like the very early stages of the preliminary stuff. So I don't even remember how they really charged her. They have not even been able to get into like the meat and potatoes of this thing, because every time they turn around, she's asking more ridiculous requests of the court and of the jail. Like at first she wanted all of the discovery. So when she went pro se, it basically became a shit show, right?
Yeah.
So she started acting like she kept saying, oh, I'm not an attorney, which we get it. Like, I mean, at times like that, you kind of feel bad for her because you know she doesn't stand a chance, right? But she's done this to herself.
No, she dug her own grave.
Yeah, exactly. And so it ended up being like the freaking warden of the jail and all of the people that work with her had to appear in the court because she was asking so much of the jail and of the court. At first, she was wanting it all on a thumb drive. Okay, so she was wanting all of her discovery to be on a thumb drive, to be accessible at pretty much any hours of the day. She's wanting a special classroom because she didn't want other inmates looking at her discovery. She wanted, this, that, and the other, and they could not accommodate her. Then she turned it into, she wants the physical copies. And they were saying, we cannot accommodate that much paperwork in a freaking jail cell.
Right.
And also it went against their fire regulations. They were having to give her a freaking fire retardant bag to put all of these documents in. It was just insane. And so it's almost like she's really in my opinion, at this point, from what I've seen, she is trying to stall the court. She's afraid to be sentenced. She's afraid to go to prison. She thinks, I'm just going to ride this out in jail as long as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, and stay in the news because she is, you know, every freaking hearing they have, she talks about her fan club. She talks about her fans raising money for her. You know, she wants to stay relevant. She wants to soak up as much, you know, energy as possible. She's an energy vampire.
I'd be interested to know her background because, oh God, this is, no matter how I word this, it's going to come out wrong. However, she is sort of the definition of entitlement. Like, she thinks that she's entitled to all of these things. And typically, like, you would see that in somebody who was brought up in a very entitled way. And for
in a silver spoon environment.
I don't know how she was brought up, but I don't get the feeling that she was brought up with like a lot of money or a lot of like, you know, I don't know, but that's what she screams to me as entitlement. Like, I'm entitled to these things. Like, I'm a victim, and people are victims.
She's always a victim.
Say this, like, I don't mean to like disrespect people who are victims, but like, she loves to play the victim card. You know?
Well, here's the thing. I mean, she's innocent until proven guilty, right? I'm not saying anything other than that.
I'm not a lawyer. I don't say that. I don't believe that.
However, there is like evidence that is basically insurmountable, okay? That shows that there very much was a victim in this crime.
And it wasn't her.
And it wasn't her. And
right.
She has put herself as the victim ever since day one. You know, she could care less what the family, you know, I mean, this dude had kids. This dude had an ex-wife and kids, and his family was always saying like she was the names they called her was like the White Devil. Like she, you know, like, she is dragging these people through the mud.
Here's where I struggle. Like, and not to, this isn't like, it kind of is, but isn't changing the subject. Like, people talk about like, don't victim shame, don't victim blame, but people lie. Like, this happens a lot where people, women, men, whoever, like, they lie about being essayed. They lie about a lot of things for different reasons, whether it's to gain certain things or whatever the case may be. And like, I really struggle with that phrase, like, don't victim shame or victim blame. Like, you automatically have to like believe anybody who cries R or, you know, essay or because like, I mean, like, ideally in a perfect world, sure, like people wouldn't lie about stuff like that, but people do.
People do.
Like, a lot of people's reputations are ruined because they were accused of things, and God forbid, like, it's not PC that we victim blame. So we have to believe that you essayed this person, but you actually didn't, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's wolves out there that actually do, you know, perpetrate horrible acts on people. However, there's also wolves in sheep's clothing that pretend to be victims. And I think this is, from what I've seen, is a classic case of, you know, this entitled person with narcissistic traits that, you know, she's this big victim. Everybody has done her wrong. And I mean, just like right now, she's trying to claim the battered spouse defense. I think that's the way that she's going with her defense.
Right.
And there's so much evidence to the contrary. And you know, there's creators out there that I've watched their content, and they've done deep dives into George's past, which was the actual victim of this crime, and he never had any type of criminal charges, never any domestic violence in his past.
The same with Chris
And
Watts.
so,
Like nothing. And listen,
right,
that's not to say that people don't snap. It happens, but you have to look at these like patterns of behavior. And it seems
right,
with Sarah particularly that we already have these like pre-existing patterns of behavior.
yeah,
You know,
and that's why I love this video that you're about to play, because this is previous. So what he's about to show is this is previous footage before the incident, right?
okay.
So there was multiple domestic violence calls to the residents long before that, and
Right.
I think the victim George had been arrested maybe twice, right, from these calls. But in this body cam footage, you see how she just makes up the story as she goes, and she uses the leverage of, oh, I'm the female, he's gonna be the perpetrator, and meanwhile, there's tons of men that will not admit that they've been abused.
Right.
So
But
this
there's
really
something
highlights that.
right. And there's something to be said, again, not to like contribute to this like unqualified diagnosis of narcissism, but there's something to be said for being able to off the cuff lie like
Make
she
stories.
does
Yeah.
and like alter her stories like she does, because I like, if I'm caught in something, I'm like flustered. I can't get it together. Like I can't, she's very, very
Yeah.
smooth. She's very, very smooth in how she
Yes.
deals with
Very
people.
calculated.
Yeah.
Very calculated.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to play this real quick. I'm going to mute myself because I just have to go use the bathroom real quick, and I'll be right back.
Okay.
Initial no. Sarah's going to be going with, most likely, part of her defense is a battered spouse syndrome thing. She is basically saying he was so abusive to her in the moment. That's the only thing that she could think of to get away from him, right? Now we'll see exactly how that plays out. There clearly was domestic issues between both of them. It probably went both ways. He probably did stuff, she probably did stuff. It sounds like it was a lot of drama that went on between them and at their residence.
August 28th, 2019, George is arrested for battery as well. Then September 4th, 2019, George arrested for battery again. Now, September 4th, 2019, again, 5 months before the suitcase.
You're muted, I think. You're muted.
Okay. I just have to say something really quick, like from what I just heard, without revealing like a ton of personal information. My mother, there was a lot of issues with my mom and my dad. My mom never, like, when you're scared of somebody, you don't antagonize them. Like, you don't record them and intentionally like try to get reactions out of them, like happened in this case. When you're scared of somebody, like you appease them because you're so afraid for your life. It's okay. It's like all you want to do is appease them. And I understand that like people react different, like victims react differently. Not everybody reacts the same. Not everybody has the same trauma response. But when you're scared for your life, you don't antagonize.
Exactly.
You don't sit there with somebody in a suitcase and say, how's it feel? You don't do that. That is not how victims act. No.
And one thing I want to add, I don't know if it's going to be in this body cam footage, but one of the nights that the police were called out, they found George hiding in a freaking bathtub. Okay. He was also hiding in a suitcase. So what does that sound like? Who sounds more afraid of someone? That's
That
all I'm gonna
actually
say.
like really pisses me off because like here you have somebody who is no longer around to defend themselves.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
not only have they been killed, but they are now being accused of being like the perpetrator in domestic violence and they have no way to defend themselves. And that
Yeah.
pisses me off.
And the only reason that we're going through his battery charges right now is because he's a male.
Right.
I'm
Right.
sorry, but I'm just saying
It's true.
this
True.
would be a non-issue if it was a female, because we both know. I mean, I don't know how it is in Florida, but in Georgia, you both can get arrested.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They may not find markings, they may not find any evidence, but either one person is going to go to jail because there's evidence that you've been harming somebody, or you're both going to jail and you're going to be charged for something.
Right.
So, you know, that's all I'm going to say. I mean, it's to me, it's obvious what was going on here.
Yeah.
He was also a smaller guy. I mean, that's not saying anything, you know, but at the same time, you know, he fit into a suitcase.
I know. Yeah.
So I'm just saying, if you'll hear, I think this is the body cam footage where you'll hear her ridiculous response saying he kicked open the door multiple times. How do you kick open a door multiple times? But
Right.
I'm getting ahead of myself. So.
Okay. All right.
Case incident, we've got body cam video of this alleged domestic violence incident response by police. Take a look.
Okay, so you see that. So 4 incidents that were boom, 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 all leading up. So this paints a little bit of a picture along with Sarah's interview with the police that she described of the situation. Now, again, if you've watched that, a lot of you have asked me to do it again, like another updated one. I have a video of it breaking it down, and I very well might, but we have all this context because it really is just true crime classic, right? On many levels, excellent detective work, excellent questioning, and a defendant who's just all over the place. But you hear her talking about all these situations, and you know, then there's this going on over here. So somewhere in the middle lies the truth. Now, was that truth that the only thing to do was to get him in a suitcase and ridicule him while he suffocated? I don't know, right? I would think not. I think there'd probably be different ways to go about that, but I wasn't there. So let's go ahead and watch along with Vinny into the first clip.
If you hate wearing bras, you should try me instead. I'm the Under Outfit wireless bra.
George was hiding in the bathtub upstairs. Okay?
Yes.
So, he gave me his side of things. I need you to give me your side of things in person right here. And we kind of talked on the phone, but I need you to tell me what happened tonight. So what happened?
Okay, well, pardon my language, because it's not me. I was called a
Okay.
And I'm not a mother to my son.
Okay.
All the while, nonetheless, I was sleeping before that.
Okay. So you're woken up to him calling you names. Is that what you're saying?
I thought that I'm like, feed the beast. Go outside and smoke a cigarette with him.
Pause. Okay. Now, we'll get into some of the stuff that's about to happen when he kind of calls her out, like, you're adding new stuff to it or whatever. So first of all, he's hiding up in the bathtub. Immediate thing that I noticed right away, she seems to be inebriated. Okay. I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't, you know, this is just me. The slurring of the speech, the way she looks very similar to the way she did at the arrest footage that we know from the most recent one. We know that they like to drink. There's a history of drinking issues and all this type of stuff. And you also see how much healthier Sarah looks now that she's been incarcerated for 5 years compared to the videos the day of the arrest that we all kind of know. And then these right here, she doesn't look well. Now, granted, it's poorly lit. I get that it's nighttime. But I just want to point those things out.
Your mic's muted again. Your mic's muted.
I'm curious if you know this, because like I said, I've never watched anything past like the initial interrogation videos. Did they ever drug test her?
I don't actually know that information.
Okay.
It seems like they would have.
Okay.
But I think
Google it.
I don't know. But I do know that she definitely, they
Drank.
both had alcohol issues.
Right. Okay.
And I think that's actually what brought them together.
Right.
Apparently they met at a bar.
Okay.
So I think they were both dealing with alcohol issues.
Okay. All right.
Out because I think at the center of a lot of this, drinking, and I don't know if there's drugs or whatever, but definitely drinking seems to be an issue. This is not to shame her for that. It's one of these things where it is what it is, you know. It is what it is, but I really feel like the drinking is at the center of their problems. The vibe that I get is that Sarah and him enjoy drinking, and that, you know, and I can't speak about George because he's not here to say, and we haven't really seen anything, but with her and the evidence and her own words, it sounds like she's somebody who kind of turns angry and violent when she drinks, right? So let's keep going.
Okay.
Try to calm down. Well, the whole time I was there saying nothing. Nothing. I was called names.
Okay. So you guys are smoking a cigarette, and he was calling you names, being verbally aggressive with you, verbally abusive.
Before that, where I'm like, I don't want to get hit anymore. So I'm just going to go downstairs and smoke a cigarette with him to try to calm him down.
Oh, she's completely drunk. Just if you can see it, like bright in your TV or whatever, the way she looks, she's like trying to calm him down. I'm not like making fun of her, but it's just, I think she's blackout drunk. Okay. I just think she doesn't know what's going on half the time when she drinks. And then this crazy stuff happens because some of the logic that she will speak in is drinking logic. I mean, just think back, whether you're a drinker now, you drank before or whatever, not I'm saying like alcoholic level, but just when you drank. I mean, we've all kind of been there, right? It's like you're not making the thought process isn't firing off. If she had some form of drinking problem and you're doing this day in, day out, this could make cloudy things.
Listen, I just went in my fridge and I was like, I was convinced that I had one Bud Light seltzer left of that cola flavor that I hated.
No, you killed it. You killed it last time.
I didn't finish it. No, because I drank the lemon lime.
Oh.
And I was like,
Okay.
this is so gross. I couldn't finish it, so I dumped it out. So I have nothing.
Oh no.
Around because again the cop's going to call her out and it's going to be like, you're adding all this stuff to the situation, and therein lies the problem. Also at the center of it, Sarah is just a dramatic person. Okay, sober, not so, whatever, she's just dramatic, you know, and so she's kind of making everything, she's extra. Okay, and that's just the vibe that I get from her. She's just extra, so she makes things extra. And if you've been around people like that, then you know how it goes. With this, you also have to, a lot of.
Has she, as part of her like pretrial stuff, has she had a psychological evaluation?
I don't believe so. I think that was part of the pro se thing that she was trying to request from the court, was a good like psychologist to examine her, to make sure she was competent and so forth, and because she wanted to go the route of the battered spouse defense, you know. So
because
I don't think they've done that.
Okay. Because like I don't know how it works in like forensic settings, but like in the real world, like if you're, and obviously she's in jail now, so that's not the case, but like if you're in the midst of active addiction or alcoholism, you can't be diagnosed with a personality disorder because they can mimic a lot of, you know what I mean, the symptoms of drug addiction.
No, she actually petitioned the court asking for diagnosis from, you know, a psychologist or psychiatrist, because she was unsure of it, but she had a feeling she had some type of disorder, because she was saying because of everything that she went through during her childhood.
Right, but they haven't tested her, like, even because like usually the prosecution will have their own psychologist and the defense will have their own psychologist.
Yeah, no, I mean, they're like I don't know how they're going to put this trial on in October. I really don't, because they're so far behind. Like,
Right.
they haven't even.
I don't know who this person is, Scott. I don't know if he's a psychologist. I'm just reading this article, and it says like suspects, according to what what they've been able to see, personality traits indicate severe psychosocial issue or psychological issues, possibly including narcissistic personality disorder, paranoia, and sadism.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. That may
like,
be
use battered spouse syndrome as a defense. There has to be a psychologist there from the prosecutor that's able to do like an evaluation so that they can counter that. Like, that's part of it. Like, if you're going to use a mental sort of defense, you have to allow the prosecution to use a mental health professional to also like evaluate you.
Right. And I think she's made it clear, like, pro se, she knew little to nothing. She didn't know what she was doing. She made a flyer that looked like a garage band flyer, asking for an attorney, because after she became pro se, she asked multiple times to have at least an assistance with her counsel, right?
Right.
And the judge refused, said, you forfeited that right by, basically not working with your court-appointed attorneys. So now you're pro se. We're not going to go back through this.
Listen, I get that. But that gives her grounds to come back if she's convicted of this crime. That gives her grounds to come back for a mistrial.
Well, that's why she kept saying, "Oh, you're stepping on my constitutional rights, yada yada yada," and then she ended up making this garage band flyer, and I don't use that term loosely because it looks like she is trying to find a bass player for her garage band, but she's actually asking for an attorney to respond to this flyer. Yeah, pull the flyer up, and spoiler alert, as of, I think it was maybe a week or two ago, there was an attorney that responded.
Okay.
And so
she's in Florida.
I believe. Yeah, it's an attorney.
I don't know why she doesn't try to like hire Jose Baez or some asshole like that.
Oh, that would be she can't even afford a freaking.
He would never, because he loves his reputation. And Casey Anthony, like, as psycho as she was, like, he could get away with that, but like her, no. All right.
The freaking the Wade Wilson fangirls tried to hire that Jose Baez for his criminal defense, and they were like, absolutely not. So, but yeah, as far as Suitcase Sarah, there's her flyer right there.
Yeah, I'm trying to make it bigger. It won't let me make it big because it's. Let me see if I can like. It won't let me scroll. Okay, here we go.
It's absolutely hilarious. The wording of it, the font, and she did this all like in pen, in the pen. Like,
wow.
Yeah. Doesn't it look like, oh, I'm looking for a bass player for my garage band. We're going on tour.
Epic opportunity awaits. Looking for a prosperous challenge. Invest in the oppressed. See.
Exactly.
Oh,
that victim mindset.
Yes.
But yeah, so I think her new attorney is that Scott guy that you just looked up. So he probably is now formulating an actual game plan to her defense, because he responded, and he basically was like, this lady. I was looking forward to the trial with her representing herself, her having her hair teased up, wearing like some, like sequin dress, and the whole thing. I could just see it, right? And just her like cross-examining the witnesses. But let's face it, she, like you said, she's gonna have grounds for appeal if she does that. So
Right. And that's what I
it's
don't
probably
understand.
for the best.
Right. Like, I don't understand how this, who's the judge? Do you know? I should Google it.
Oh,
But
he's a saint. He's a literal saint. Like, I don't know his name, but he is one of the most patient judges I've ever seen.
I like, no
Um,
disrespect for like Florida, but like, it's always Florida. Always Florida.
Florida's so funny.
It's always freaking Florida. I want to
They
see.
have the best trials.
Yeah, and probably like the biggest state for people getting acquitted when they're actually guilty. I want to see who the judge is in this case. Yeah, but
I
what's his
think
name?
she's like in the Orlando area or something
Oh,
like that.
Michael
I'm
Kranick.
not 100%.
Michael Kranick.
Yes,
Okay.
sounds
Yeah, I've
familiar.
not heard of him. I've not heard of him. I've seen some judges in Florida who were phenomenal. Like, they're great. And I actually really liked the judge in Casey Anthony's case. And he went on a talk show after Casey Anthony was acquitted, and he was like, basically, like, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but my interpretation of what he said was like, the jury got it wrong. You
Yeah.
know? So there are good
Yeah.
judges in Florida, but Florida.
Oh yeah, the judge.
Florida's a little sus.
Look, even though, I mean, look, I get it with the whole pro se thing, but the fact that she was kicking and screaming, it did kind of like make you feel some type of way, because it's like, okay, we know she's gonna, by the end of this, she's gonna be able to appeal it. So
Right.
I'm glad the dude stepped up. I'm glad he's getting her, you
You got to
psyche
give her an
valves.
assistant or somebody, or like a mitigation specialist or somebody.
No, they said, and this is going up to the highest courts. I mean, he was citing Supreme Court cases and saying once you go pro se, the court is not obligated to provide you any type of assistance.
Yeah, but didn't the
further from
court? She didn't ask to go pro se, right? Or I
Right,
thought,
exactly.
right.
It was, but there was another case, I think, out of Florida that said, if it gets to a certain limit with, now she was basically, he was saying you're free to hire the lawyer of your pleasing.
Well, we're not going to give you
whatever
one
you, but we are no longer obligated
to pay
to
for one.
provide you with a court appointed, because you have reached 8 freaking different lawyers that they're already petitioning for back wages, by the way, because they've sunk so much money and time into her case, and at every turn she said, this is not good enough, I'm not ready, she drug it out.
It's her strategy.
And
I feel
so
like that's her strategy. Like, that's what.
Yes, I mean,
Yeah, and I get it, but you're leaving yourself open. Like, she's gonna get a plea deal, or she's gonna get acquitted down the road. Like, I don't know what
for
the
sure.
answer is. I don't know what the answer is. Like,
at least this Scott guy, he came on Court TV, and the funny thing is, he said he watches a lot of YouTube. He probably watches Paul. He probably sees like how much of a shit show this is,
right?
And he's like, I've got to offer my services, and so he went on Court TV and discussed with them like, hey, I'm representing her. The first meeting we had, it was hours long. He basically gave her 5 hours to just ramble.
I mean, whoever takes this case on, regardless of what the outcome is, they're gonna have notoriety. Like, look at Jose Baez. Like, people don't have respect for Jose Baez, but he's like famous now because he represented
Well,
Casey.
yeah. Well, and the thing is, so he's already, I think what his game plan is, and he said this on Court TV. He said, she's currently not obviously paying me, but it's not pro bono. So he says that she will pay me. she is obligated to pay me. So that could look like, hey, in the future she makes payments or whatnot. Or it could be that he's already got it in his head. Okay, I'm going to get the rights to this.
Right, but
You know
that
what I'm
can be
saying?
very
Like,
easily taken away. Like Jodi Arias, for example, like in Arizona, totally different state. But when she was convicted, like it was basically ordered that she was not allowed to profit at all from
yeah,
she
right.
can't make money from any interviews or any of her artwork or
But
anything like that.
yeah, but here's the thing: he can though, and he's a lawyer, so he knows how to get her to sign over her rights to say, I'm not going to get
Right.
money from this.
She
Sarah
has
Boone's
to
not
do
going
that
to.
because Jodi Arias'
However,
lawyer, yeah. And he
the
got
attorney can. He could freaking sell it to Netflix tomorrow.
with her permission.
Right. And so he said outright, she is obligated to pay me back. So
Right.
he probably already had these talks of, hey, I will give you the best defense possible to try to get you out of this whole ordeal. However, you're going to sign the rights to me to where I can, and so he's going to make a lot of money off this, basically.
Yeah. Because like the prosecutor in Jodi Arias' trial, Juan Martinez, wrote a book about it. And I think he was debarred. Like, I don't know if that's a proper term, like disbarred, debarred. Like, I think he lost his license because
disbarred.
Yeah. And Kirk Nurmi too, but like Kirk Nurmi didn't give a fuck at that point. He was just like, I don't want to be a lawyer anymore. Nobody would have hired him either because they had no respect for him after he represented Jodi Arias. But like, he was in hot water too for writing about her without her permission.
Yeah. I mean, she's, I think she's probably already consented. I think that because he said he gave her 5 hours to talk. They had an argument and he almost walked away, but they came to an agreement. Those were his words. So I believe that, he secured something that was beneficial for him, which good for him, man. Like, to put up with her, like an energy vampire and doing all this work for her, like, that it would just be so draining on you. Like, to work for her.
It is. But like, could you, like, I can't imagine if for a fact that like somebody's guilty of something, somebody is like, and there are cases where people like they have been involved in domestic violence situations and they snap and they kill their spouse.
Yeah,
or
right.
Like, I don't think that's the case here, but like,
yeah,
how can you know somebody is guilty of straight up murder? And like, I just don't like, how can you sleep at night? Like, playing that off as a victim.
It makes sense to me the way he said it on the Court TV interview. He said he's a defense lawyer, so he does this all day long, every day. I'm sure he's probably represented worse people, but at the same time, he saw this lady that didn't have adequate representation. He saw the fact that she knew nothing about what she was doing, and that it's every person's right in the U.S. to have adequate representation.
But it's
and
not.
So that's why he did it.
Make up to spin towels and like make up stories that didn't happen. Like,
no, of course not. And
then bringing up PDF files against Travis Alexander in the Jodi Arias case, like, totally.
Well, no, and I would hope this guy doesn't. I would really hope this guy keeps it like it. He seems pretty ethical. He seems like he sees this lady, like, despite the fact that he probably can't stand her like everybody else.
Right.
And sees like, okay, it's her right. Like, she is begging the court. Like, she kept petitioning the court. Like, every hearing, it was like, I need help with my defense. I don't know what I'm doing. And so he said to himself, you know what? It's going to take a lot of work, but I have, I practice law in Florida, and somebody on Court TV actually said, hey, I wish somebody would represent her because she needs help. And he was like, you know what? I can do it. And so he answered the freaking GarageBand flyer.
And defense attorneys do get like such a bad rep, and they have like they're crucial, because if somebody doesn't get a fair trial,
yeah.
the guilty is going to come back and they're going to get a mistrial, and somebody who is guilty could be let out. Absolutely.
Look,
like everybody.
it's so important.
Yes.
Yeah, it's so
Yes.
important in our justice system to have those people doing that work.
Yes. And because there are people who are wrongly accused and wrongly convicted.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
of course.
And everybody, no matter how disgusting they are, no matter how disgusting their crimes are, deserves, you know, it's your right to have that representation, to have a fair trial. Everybody, at least me, I want to see a fair trial for anybody, you know. And anytime you see an appeal, it's like, oh man, and you see, hey, this wasn't fair. Like, this judge was in with, you know, the prosecution. They were doing this. Like, nobody wants to see that. Like, if somebody gets sentenced to life in prison or a lengthy sentence or even death, like, you want to see, like, okay, there was like evidence out the ass, you know, and it was a fair trial. Like, they had a fair shot.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, let's watch this video because this is crazy. Like, the story she spins.
A lot of this gets very tricky as far as who's telling the truth, who's not, for both of them in the scenarios.
This one curl is the reason I started my wavy hair journey. When I found Prose, I was desperate for a solution for my frizz.
Okay.
That one curl, yo.
Okay, I'm trying to get a timeline of things. So start from the beginning and give me the timeline.
Was that I was asleep?
I don't, not literal time, but in a reference of incidents, how they occurred tonight.
I was asleep, and again, he comes in and wakes me up.
He wakes you up. Okay.
He's out of sorts.
Okay.
So I'm trying to figure things out.
Okay.
Where it's like, don't make it worse. Just go downstairs with him. Because he gets mad at me because I go to sleep.
Okay.
I go downstairs, smoke a cigarette. The whole time I'm being belittled.
Okay.
Pardon me for saying talk about.
The way she just stops and stares at the cop. It's not funny, but like the look on her face. And I'm just listening to this, and first of all, the neighbors have got to be over them, okay? Absolutely over them. So far, she's describing a scenario where she's asleep, innocently asleep. She's woken up. He's out of sorts, which this to me means that he's belligerently drunk, calling her every name under the book. And so she's trying to make things better by just going downstairs with him. Okay. Do we think that from what we've seen of Sarah, it is believable? Let's just set with speculation. We haven't even gotten to this part of the video. She hasn't said any of this, whatever. That she's not serving this energy back to him. Okay. Think back to when he was in the suitcase, the things she was saying when she recorded him. Just pure, you know what, talking to him, right? I don't think she's not instigating this along. Maybe instigating is the right word. Giving it back to him. Now, again, if you were in this situation and somebody really did do this, you know, she did say, I don't want to be hit anymore. Okay. So, I mean, this could be understandable. If you are being hit and struck and all this type of stuff and you can't get out and your only way is to just go along with it, meaning, oh God, I'm just going to have to go down and pander and smoke a cigarette with him because he's going to hit me and I can't get away from this. Okay. If that's the truth, I get it.
And then
I walked off barefoot.
I walked off barefoot. That's what I'm talking about. That stare at him, like she's like, I walked off barefoot. It's that very dramatic thing. But again,
what'd you say?
I said it's such BS. Just the way she's laying this whole thing out. Like, I walked off barefoot. I was so scared. I just don't buy it.
No. And the thing is, well, I'll talk more about that in a minute, but.
Okay.
And I think she's probably pretty inebriated right here. And oftentimes you can't speak to an inebriated person logically. And this goes like whether they're both inebriated and fighting, because you see this all the time. These couples get drunk and they can't handle it and they just start this blah, right? And I just feel like that's what they did.
Okay, so when did he hit you? You said he hit you.
That was in the bedroom.
When? I just asked for a
Well, he
timeline.
woke me up.
Okay. He woke you up.
121,
By hitting you? Is that what you're telling me? Or what happened? I need you to tell.
kicked the door open. He's kicked the
You're adding a lot of details.
When was this in relation to the murder? Do you know?
I'm not exactly sure. They were showing like a timeline of events on Court TV. I don't know if this was back in August.
It's September
or-
5th, 2019.
Okay, so I don't know when the murder happened. I want to say it was like a month or two before, but I'm not 100%.
Because
I
okay,
think this is
so
one of the
he died
last times.
February 24th, 2020. So
Oh, okay.
okay. But like clearly, and I don't mean this in like because this, even if she was a victim of domestic violence, this happens, but like Scott ain't buying her story either.
Exactly. You can tell by his tone of voice, his demeanor, right, that he's saying, "I want a timeline," and
Right.
you're just making this up as you go.
She's
And you
giving
just
this
continue-
information that is so irrelevant, like that people don't like offer this, like this. Typically, people don't offer this extra information unless they're trying to convince you of something that isn't necessarily true.
Exactly. When somebody is being abused, they're going to, and they're frightened, right? They're going to keep it straight to the point for the most part. I mean,
Right.
they may ramble, about a few things here and there, but it's not going to be they're not going to keep drawing this story out.
Right.
And which is what she's doing, because as I think Paul will talk about it, like she's good at coming up on the fly. Like she just draws it out, and I think that may be her, like her whole idea with this court case. I'm going to draw it out so long to where by the time it actually happens, I'll have a good enough story.
Right. She's just distracting. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
That I need you to be very concise with.
Sir?
When I'm telling you, I need a timeline of the event.
Yes.
Okay, this is what I'm talking about. Now, again, let's look at both sides. If she's telling the truth and she's traumatized and she's drunk, she's going to leave some of the stuff out. From an officer's point of view, it's like, okay, you are now adding all this stuff, even in the moment. So when he hit you, so when did he hit you? In the bedroom. Why didn't you say that? I just told you to do that. Okay, whatever. So he woke you up by hitting you? No, he kicked the door in. Well, why didn't you tell me that? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is major stuff. Like, think about this. You're in an abusive situation that within a few months, you're going to end up taking the life of somebody. The officer's talking to you. And again, for true victims out there of this scenario, I would pay more attention to what they had to say with some validity. I'm not trying to say that she's not some form of a victim in this level of DV that's going on. And it goes both ways in this situation, I do believe. But something doesn't add up. The same way it doesn't add up to me, where, and essentially if you're looking at it like, no, I put him in the suitcase and did that because that's the only way I knew how to like save my life at that point. And I'm thinking, if you were deathly afraid of somebody, that you put him in a suitcase, he's begging to be let out, he's not screaming and yelling.
I still don't think she put him in the suitcase. I think it was some sick, fucked up game. Like, I bet you can't fit in that suitcase or whatever. I mean, I definitely 100% think that she likes him and let him out, but I don't think she forced him into the suitcase.
So without getting into too much detail, like you said earlier, I've been in screwed up relationships, right? And I've been with women that are abusive, that you will do anything to make them just shut up, basically. Because they keep nagging, they keep going.
Right.
And
But he
so
still would have gotten in. Even if it
the
was
way the way I see it is, it wasn't this hide and seek. It wasn't like this fun thing. It
Yeah,
was
I don't think it was hide and seek either.
No, all throughout the night, she's making fun of him for being so small. Okay. She is disrespecting him and saying, you know what? You can get in this suitcase. I know you can fit. And she just will not let it go.
Sure.
To the point of, he's like, you know what, Sarah? This is probably what he said. Like, you know what, Sarah? If it's going to make you happy, I will get in this suitcase.
Absolutely.
And that was it.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%. I'm just saying, like, physically, I don't think she lifted him up and forced him.
No.
Right.
She didn't force him. She verbally abused him and probably disrespected him on his manhood on every level.
Right.
To where he said, you know what? Just to make you happy, just to where we can just settle
he just
this.
wanted to appease her. Yeah.
Exactly. Just to where we can settle this and say, okay, haha, I can fit into the suitcase. I'm going to get in there.
Right. Let's move on to something else and get over the damn suitcase already. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Sarah, he sounds very helpless. And you go up and pass out. I mean, granted, if you were drunk and didn't mean to pass out, whatever. But nonetheless, it's like, can you imagine what he would do to you? And when he got out of the suitcase, like if you're comfortable enough to just fall asleep in the house with your captor or whoever in that situation, I mean, they would have definitely probably taken your life over that, right? So that's the thing. So with this, I'm thinking like that would be major. Like, no, I wake up to the door being kicked in. He barges in, he just punches me, and then he's calling me names. Like that almost sounds like the way it would go. But there's this weirdness going on here that you're almost just like, is this somebody just making things up on the fly? You know, I don't know. I wasn't there.
I absolutely love.
Okay, I'm going to skip this ad, but I also like, before we get too much further into this, I do want to play the actual recording that Sarah took of George, Jorge, whatever, in the suitcase.
Yeah.
I got it on my phone. Let me see if I can bring it up on my MacBook.
It's freaking terrible.
Sarah Boone suitcase recording. All right, and that one is from Court TV. I'm right up on my phone. Why is it not on my crap? It's only like oh man, now I can't. All right, let me keep playing this while I look for it.
Using BetterHelp. Therapy just in general has changed my
We need therapy after
your story.
Keep the door open 4 times. Fourth time, I gave in. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
That's when I got punched in my ear. On the 4th time. Where I was like, don't do it anymore. Just go downstairs. Go smoke a cigarette.
Okay.
And that's what I did.
Okay.
And then I walked out barefoot.
Okay. And on the phone, you told me that you attacked him as well.
I didn't attack him.
You said you exchanged, you had a physical altercation on the phone. That's what you told me.
I pulled him off of me.
He said he has marks because I was fighting for my life.
I was being honest with you.
Okay. There's so much going on in that. Okay. And then it turns into 4 things. Then he punched her in the ear. She's very big on walking out barefoot. Okay. This is a huge thing. All right.
All right. Really quick. Let me see if this is it. I'm going to just remove that for a quick second.
Right. We just have to remember what the victim went through. Because while she's spinning her tale, like, this is the actuality of, like, what, 5 months later, what's going to happen.
Right. All right. I wish I could, like, pre-watch this to see if this is the right thing, but hang on. Sarah.
For everything you've done.
everybody notice who's watching this, who's not familiar with that case, that the suitcase is upside down. The zipper is on the bottom.
Me, Sarah, for everything you've done to me. Sarah. You. Sarah.
I'm sorry. No disrespect to anybody, but this is not how victims act. It's just not.
You. Sarah. Stupid. Sarah. That's my name. Don't wear it up. Sarah, I can't breathe, babe. Seriously. Yeah, that's when you do when you choke me. Sarah. 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 Sarah, I can't breathe, babe. That's on you. Sarah, I can't breathe. It's on you. Sarah.
That's on you.
Real or ransom. Might want to get video for it extra. Because I got this. Sarah. Real or ransom. Sarah. Sarah.
All right, I'm not going to play any more of that. It's super disturbing. Quick question before we continue with Paul's video. Do you think that she intended to kill him, or that she intended to humiliate him and got drunk and passed out and just forgot?
I'm a little up in the air. I don't think it was necessarily premeditated.
Right.
I think that once he got in there, she took that opportunity just like any, and I'm sorry, I'm not diagnosing, but just like any good narcissist would, she sees that opportunity as a way to completely humiliate him, completely strip him of everything. And I mean, you can tell by the sound of his voice, like he knew once he got in there, like that he wasn't getting out.
Right.
He was trying to plead with her, but as somebody dealing with a narcissist, you're gonna hear them taunt you. You're gonna hear like it's almost like there's not a human behind that.
Right. And that's not what victim, in the majority of cases, that's not what victims of domestic violence do. You don't, regardless of whether you know I'm safe now because my attacker is locked in a suitcase, you don't mock them. That's not what victims sit there and laugh about it. And that's my name. Don't wear it out. That's not what victims do.
No, because you have to realize even victims that say they're the person that has been abusing them is like say incarcerated. They're not going to
flight. Their trigger response is there.
Exactly. They're gonna have such PTSD from it to where it doesn't matter if they're incarcerated. They're going to be in complete, like you said, fight or flight or a state of paranoia to where they are convinced at any moment, because that person is built up so big in their mind that they're going to get out of that situation and they're going to abuse them again.
Right. And yeah, your brain. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No, it's all right. I was gonna give like a personal reference, and I'm not gonna do that anymore. But yeah,
there's also once this trial starts, I'll be really interested to find out the details because they're a little kind of up in the air. But I've heard people report on the fact that during the autopsy, they actually found a lot of bruising, maybe even fractures to him.
Yeah.
So there is, this. I don't know if it's. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if it's actually going to be evidence or what. So where she may have actually thrown him down a flight of stairs. Once he was in the suitcase before she passed out.
It'll be interesting to hear too, like, because a lot of the times they can tell whether like some of those older injuries like show a history of domestic violence perpetrated
Right.
her against him.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And I do think she was to the state of blackout drunk,
Sure.
so it wouldn't surprise me that she's like, oh, my work here's done. I'm going to throw him down a flight of stairs, and then he's still begging for his life, and then he's probably trying to conserve air so you don't hear him anymore. And then she's like, you know what? I'm tired, and she passes out.
But you just can't imagine that. Like, I'm trying to think of myself in like a situation where like I'm so like I'm in fear of my I'm in fear of my life from somebody, and I've gotten blackout drunk before. And I'm trying to picture what I would do the next day when I woke up. If I had once I realized what I had done, I would have been distraught. I'd have turned myself in. You know what I'm saying? Like I would have called the police and been like, "Oh my God, I killed somebody. I killed."
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. If this was an accident, which I mean, I use that term loosely because I mean that video right there is damning, and that's the one thing that she kept talking about, getting discovery, getting access to her phone. Like, what does she think she can delete this? Like, it's on court TV. Like, everybody's seen this video,
right?
You can't undo the fact that you recorded the evidence that's needed to put yourself away.
Now,
because I think if this wasn't recorded, I think she would have got away with it.
She would have had a better chance, that's for sure. Now, like I said, I have not kept up with this case since the original interrogation videos. I'm curious, have they I forget all the terms now because I'm so out of touch, but like have they relocated the trial away from where they're from? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because of all of the information that's already out there, or no?
No, they haven't.
Okay. There's probably no point because everybody, I feel like everywhere has seen, at least has heard that case. And okay.
Right.
Has jury selection started or no?
No, they haven't even done that. That's what I'm saying. They're like kind of in the preliminary stages of discovery. They've been stuck in this one spot of even getting the trial going.
Well, I guess they can't even start jury selection until they get this stuff figured out with the pro se and whether she's going to have, get that lawyer that she advertised for. So interesting. Okay. All right.
I don't know. She just doesn't, and that's why it keeps sticking out to her. But then you heard the cop. He's like, well, on the phone, you said you attacked. I didn't attack him. You said that you got in a physical altercation. I didn't do that. Well, I did it because I was fighting. You said you were fighting for your life. Well, I was doing this. In the courtroom with her being sober for several years, you see how circular her thought process and speech is, right? Here, it's like active addiction or whatever you want to call it. You see it where she's taking one thing you say and then going in this way, and then taking this and going this way, and then taking this and going this. It's like, oh my God. Oh my God. It drives you crazy. Okay, now let's move over. Let's go back to Vinny and his think tank, as he calls them and whatnot. And let's listen to the professionals for a minute, okay? Because what I want to do is listen to some of the ideas that they come up with and talk about them from that perspective, because I think they're really, really good. Let's take a look at the clip.
And Bremner, are you seeing a battered spouse, a battered woman in this video? And do you think that this becomes relevant in the trial?
Well, I don't know if I see it or not, Vinny. I mean, the officer seems to not believe her, at least in my estimation, but she's definitely got that defense. And she called it in and she said she was attacked and everything else. It sounds like it's happened before. So this is something that she can allege. However, he's in a suitcase. So, I mean, does she let him out? You know, does she call the police, say, I put him in a suitcase to protect myself? No, she leaves him all night, and then it's tape recorded where she's saying they'll teach you to cheat on me, things like that. So
she brings up excellent points here. Okay, definitely, it's like, okay, Sarah has this document. There's 4 incidents, it's documented. Boom, 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 boom. So yes, this defense is probably on the table, like she's saying. But then, excellent point she brings up. Did she call the police when he was in there? Which I get in an abusive situation. A lot of times, it's not going to help. It's going to make it worse. So that part, it cancels itself out for me because that's a logical question. But in some of these scenarios like this, you can't, the police aren't going to help you, right? He's going to be back the next day and he will kill you then, right? Or she, or whatever it is in any situation. But this one is particularly, we're talking about George. Now, also where she was like, you know, hey, great dandy, but you're on video talking about this will teach you to cheat on me again when you did this. And she does say something about him putting his hands on her. So there is that. However, it's not giving, trying to save my life. It's giving, I'm drunk and blacked out and bitter.
The suitcase incident is February 2020. Sarah stated she was beaten up, face, head, legs, arms. She stated she begged George to stop. George stated, you're going to die. Sarah stated that George punched her in the head, flung her off the bed. Sarah stated the incident occurred due to George being upset about Sarah talking to a male. Do you think there's going to be enough here for a battered spouse, battered woman syndrome type of defense?
I mean, I think you can make the argument based on the history of battery from George to Sarah. However, when you think about the statements that she made post when the police arrived there, talking about, and the video, moreover in the video, talking about you cheated on me and then the hide and seek defense, all those things seem to undermine the theory of the defense from that perspective.
Again, excellent point. Remember what she's talking about? It was a good day. We painted, we colored, we skipped, we played Foursquare, we played hopscotch. I mean, like all this stuff that I'm just like, even the little stuff, I'm like, my God, what were y'all doing? Running from like activity station to activity station. It was giving kindergarten classroom, okay? But nonetheless, you know, I even forgotten about this, where she's talking about we're playing hide and seek. So how do we go from hide and seek to that? You know, again, he's dead, honey. You can say whatever you need to at this point if he was truly like that. She probably could have gotten away with this, okay? Had she not said a lot of the stuff that she did and just gone based on evidence, like say there's nothing else but the evidence or whatever of historical narrative of police reports, she might have a case there. That video she took, it did her in. I'm not trying to say I hope she got away with it, obviously, right? But that video and then that police interview, again, it's golden.
Dave Ehrenberg, something else that we've now discovered is George Torres's brother, Pharrell Torres, apparently being charged with murder. This is from May of this year, May 29, charged with homicide without premeditation. He called 911, stated in the call, I stabbed her in the head. He said multiple times, I stabbed her because I was mad. Police arrived. They found Pharrell Torres' girlfriend face down on her stomach, pool of blood around her abdomen on the floor.
So here's the thing, yes, and many of you have talked with me about this in the chats and stuff about his brother and this arrest and whatnot, and the plans to probably bring this up and somehow get into trial and whatnot. Again, I feel like could all of this stuff portray into that, you know, into her claims or whatever? Oh, I'm sure it could. I feel like with the other stuff that came from her mouth, though, it was way more than that. I think that this is a case where two things can be true at one time. Do I think that both George and Sarah were abusive to each other? 100%. 100%. I mean, it shows this, right? Do I think that she might have made some stuff up at some point? 100%. 100%. I mean, we see her doing this now, right? What's the difference between them? Could a lot of the abuse coming from him have been triggered by abuse that she started on him? Sure. Why not? I wasn't there, right? So I don't know. Anything's possible. And you could say vice versa between the two. However, is it enough to get her off the case or whatever? I mean, I personally do not think so.
No, that stuff's coming in, Vinny. That's not going to happen in this case. Unless some jurors see this elsewhere and then bring it in with them, but that would be violating their oath. But to get what Rick was saying, I agree with him. I think it's going to be hard for her to really push this defense because her words on the video she recorded showed that she was the one taunting him, being mad at him for various things. And yes, even if he did lay hands on her, which apparently they both did to each other, you can't just go around killing people because of previous conduct. You have to be an imminent.
I'm muted. I probably should have stayed muted. I was going to say, I'm sorry. I can't stop fixating on how much foundation that man is wearing.
Fear of your life at that time.
So there you go, from the horse's mouth, right? So you hear him saying, yeah, he says they're not going to bring this in there. That would make sense. Unless, again, the juror hears it, whatever. Somehow, some way they can get this information in, whether it's like the jurors have seen this, whatever, who knows. I could see that playing into it, the decision making. But like they've all said,
Look at what he's got here in the background. He's got the Sanderson sisters. Winifred, Sarah, and oh my God. Winifred, Sarah, and what's Kathy's character's name?
and these are the real people, okay? The real professionals. And this is what so many people are echoing is just, look at the videotape. That videotape is not her friend, okay, at all. It put everything up there of a drunken, angry woman scorned at this man. Like you said, do I think they put hands on each other? Yes, 100% I get that, right? And like the gentleman just said, you don't kill someone in that level, right? You can obviously, but you'll end up where Sarah's at.
I'm sorry. I don't know how I removed you. I was sitting there talking to you. I didn't know you weren't there. It showed you there.
I'm back.
When I clicked on you, it showed your icon. And when I clicked on you, it said add back to stage. I didn't even know that I had removed you.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what happened, but
yeah, I must have clicked something by accident. All right, this is almost done. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
No, go ahead.
No, go. I missed the part about his brother. Is that what they were talking about towards the end?
Yeah, so there were charges from his brother, domestic abuse charges against, I don't know who it was, some woman from his brother. And they were saying
that's just stupid.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That has absolutely nothing to do with it. And unless some juror discovers that that's irrelevant.
Oh, okay.
Not be brought into the case.
And to be honest with you, I don't think Sarah Boone wants that to happen. So I don't know who's bringing that about, but because there's a YouTube creator that did a deep dive into Sarah Boone's brother, and my God, she doesn't want brothers to get brought up. Let's just say that.
Really?
Her brother is 1,000,000 times worse.
Oh wow, interesting. Okay. All right, let's finish this.
Okay. So I do not think that she was scared for her life. I don't think any of that. If anything, George was scared for his life, right? She was the ultimate aggressor in this scenario. It doesn't sound like any of these things in the past led up to a scenario where she was truly just like, oh my God, there's nothing else I can do. Okay. I think the body cam footage here shows, that officer's not really believing her. He's calling her out. You're changing the story. You're adding stuff to it. You said this a minute ago. You said this when you called. This isn't adding up. And we see her doing that now in all these preliminary hearings where she just goes in circles. It was just messier when she was drunk, so there's that. Again, I don't think that this body cam footage, I don't know if they can put the body cam footage in the current trial, but it ain't going to be her friend either, in my opinion. So time will tell. Okay. So that's it. I do appreciate if you're still watching. Let me know what you think.
This is where I always question the whole, people are you don't ever question somebody when they purport to be domestically abused or whatever. And you should always take somebody's claim seriously, but you don't just go and automatically judge and accuse the other person for it until you investigate. You don't just automatically,
exactly,
this accused you of abuse, so that's the way it is. They're a victim and we cannot doubt their story. You know what I'm saying? That.
Yeah. The math ain't mathin'. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's just obvious. everybody, I mean, like you said, you gotta investigate it. But there's certain people that when they start with these sob stories, these victim stories, like you can just see right through it. And I think pretty much anybody can see through what Sarah's doing.
I hope so, because I swear, like, I probably will not watch this case like I watched Casey Anthony and Jodi Arias. I will keep up with it, but I'm not going to like sit there and watch it. But like, if this plays out like another Casey Anthony and she's acquitted on some BS, like there's not enough physical evidence, it's all circumstantial, whatever, like there's going to,
I think so. Here's my prediction. I think she will be found guilty. Like I said, that video is so damning.
Right.
I mean, you're watching the crime happen.
Right
before your eyes. You can hear the desperation in his voice. A jury is not going to be able to turn away from that.
Right.
However, my concern is the amount of time that she's going to get. We know. I mean, we don't know. They may end up with a death penalty, but I don't think that they're going to charge her like that. Like, I don't even know what the actual charges are, but I just really, I don't think. First of all, I think there has to be another felony happening at the same time.
Yeah, I don't know with Florida. Right. I don't know how it is, because it's different in different states as to what sort of like qualifications have to be met in order to seek the death penalty.
Which,
some states,
yeah,
you don't even have to say that you're seeking the death penalty until you get the verdict and you're in the penalty phase, and then you say, okay, like this is what we're going for. So I don't know specifically with Florida.
Which, I mean, I guess they could, but first of all, they would have to rule that it was premeditated, and I think that's going to be the hardest thing with this, is to rule that it was premeditated, because I'm even on the fence of it. I think that she seized the moment, but I don't think that she could have planned it any better. You know what I mean?
Right. Like they said, even and like again, like it's different in different states, but even if she had the forethought, and again, like she's drunk, so who knows? But like, even if she had in the split second to sit there and think, if I go to bed right now, he's gonna die. I
guess that's premeditation. Yeah.
Right. You don't have to sit there and have planned it for a week or even a day.
Right.
So,
yeah, true.
I don't know.
I guess that could be.
Right.
Yeah, no, that's the way it is. I guess it could be considered that, and I guess it could be. It depends on how they decide to rule it to where it could be in the midst of another felony crime, because it could be considered, I guess, kidnapping. I don't know. There's probably a few that. There's probably a few that could be used in that situation.
Right. Now, I'm interested, like, I guess it doesn't really matter, but like, does this guy, other than the brother that we just heard about, like, does he have family that you know that is actively kind of working with the prosecutors? Because sometimes like that has a bearing on whether or not the death penalty is sought. Like the prosecutor take the family into consideration, and the family will say, no, I don't want to go through that, because they're the ones that have to go through like all the this, that, and the other thing.
I don't think we've heard a lot from the family other than how much they can't stand her.
Okay.
But I don't know if they've been working with the prosecution.
Okay.
It seems like, the mother of his kids would probably have something to say about this.
I'm interested to know who's prosecuting this case. Let's see. Prosecutor and Sarah Boone case. I don't even know if any of you said it was in Orlando.
I think, I'm not 100%, but I think it's in the Orlando area.
All right. Who is prosecuting? Okay, so it's David Cacciatore. Okay, no clue. I was just curious to see. Okay. Interesting. Well, I don't know. Like I tend to like cases where there's some like mystery involved. Like it's really like trying to figure out like, did this person even do it? And if they did, like, you know, like what are the facts? Like in this case, like it's just, yeah, she did it. Like she's fucking.
I think it just pisses me off because you know I've dated women that are abusive, and so it pisses me off to see like this dude still is painted in a bad light, and he's the freaking victim.
Yeah, it gives real victims of domestic violence a bad rap, and yeah,
and it shines a light on a much needed conversation of why is it always like, you know,
men
the female is the victim. Yeah,
right,
exactly,
right. And I do think, I mean, statistics, like I only believe in statistics so much because like that's only like what's reported, you know. So obviously it makes sense, like men, for in the vast majority of cases, they are bigger, they are stronger, but in a lot of like instances that doesn't mean anything, you know. Like you can have such an emotional, like you can abuse somebody emotionally to the point where like they'll do whatever you want, you know what I mean? Like you don't even have to abuse physically.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah, I mean, you know, we know like how detrimental verbal abuse is, you know, that kind of thing. There's other abuse that can be so much more detrimental than physical abuse and a physical aggression. So
absolutely. Well, I don't know. We do have a ghost listener. I don't know who it is. I'm a ghost listener. But I've been live for over 3 hours now. So I think I'm gonna get ready to wrap it up.
All right.
Plus,
well,
like,
this was fun.
Yes, it was.
I'm still drinking my Blue Moon.
Are you? I have nothing. Nothing.
I'm on my second Blue Moon.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. Yeah, I mean, it's fine that I have nothing left to drink, but like now I'm hungry. Like I've sat here and munched on 2 of these little bags of chips.
I am too. I'm wishing I had my Chinese food.
I'm wishing for a grilled cheese steak burrito from Taco Bell. That's what I'm wishing for.
Oh, dang. That sounds good.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
May have to DoorDash something.
So now, are you still thinking about potentially going live this weekend?
Yeah, probably so.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll be busy for most of the day on Saturday. But maybe Saturday night or Sunday night.
Okay. Cool. Well, let me know. Keep everybody posted if you schedule it when you.
Oh yeah. For sure. Yeah, I'll schedule it. We'll plan it out.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks for coming out.
All right. Good night.
Good night. All right, guys. If anybody is still in here, thank you for watching. This was a fun live stream, actually. It was really fun. I'm going to head out. Like I said, it's been like 3 hours and almost 13 minutes. So I'm hoping to keep this live stream up, but I can't make any promises because y'all know how I am. So I will probably try to do, I might do like weekly or bi-weekly wine live streams again, if that's something that triggers you. If you're in the recovery community, understand you don't have to watch. I will try to put it in the title when I do a live stream. If I'm like having wine or anything like that, just so you know, if you don't want to be there, again, totally understand. So I hope everybody has a good night. Thanks for hanging out and we'll see you soon. Bye.